royals watch with stony gaze, guardians of endless maze. Pipe organ's breath begins to rise, filling air with mournful ties. Whispering shadows secrets keep in the depths where night meets sleep. Underneath the velvet gloom, guardians of the haunted room.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lady Red of the Black Pants Legion, and I have not only poked Lictor, who has not yet joined us but probably will, but I may or may not have kidnapped Doctor Who's the chef. Say hi, Doctor Who.
Hi, Doctor Who.
Excellent. That is Lictor's normal joke. We got it out of the way. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Indeed.
How are we doing today, chat? How is everybody? And I'm going to presume everything is working as intended. OBS tells me that we can actually hear the doc. So hopefully volume levels are good. Also, I have tea. How is chat doing? Oh no, Tired German has a cold. I am very sorry to hear that. I hope you get over it soon. And you also have nice warm things to drink. Digiman, a streak of 20 or so is still more than I manage. I normally manage to get to like 2 of 3 or sometimes even 3 of 3 and then everything falls off because I spend most of my time doing ridiculous stuff.
7, and then I'm just like, I'm tired from work.
Oh, Night Owl is making Katsudon, and stream appears to not be broken. I mean, that's it. Close the stream here, guys. I won. I did one when nothing went wrong at the beginning. It is a Christmas miracle way after Christmas.
No. I meant to say, no, I can't hear you at all.
Yes, you're very helpful with that feedback every week when I'm like, well, what has OBS fucked up this time? Lord Tro is asking a horse question. Who is a renowned American-bred, Japanese-trained thoroughbred racehorse, often considered the best Japanese horse of the 20th century? I know who you're referring to. I think it's El Condor Pasa. Is it El Condor, or am I mixing my horses up? I think it might be El Condor Pasa. I'm sure Lord Tro will correct me if I'm wrong. We can look at some Uma stuff today if you'd like, because I may or may not have been doing a thing while Doctor Who has been here, and that there may be very strange plans in the works, but, you know, we don't do weird stuff around here. We only do normal things. UNC Samurai has no commitments until Tuesday. That is fabulous. Introspective is saying Sunday. I mean, Sunday could be... Do we mean Silent Sunday? Normal and weird things are the norm, yes. Normal like betting on seahorse racing, absolutely. Yeah, Silent Sunday. Fair enough, fair enough. I just remember there being a thing with El Condor Pasa, but yes, Silent Sunday was a hell of a horse with a hell of a legacy, not just of their own, but of their descended children.
I am doing last-minute editing on my story.
Excellent. Well, we're going to read that today. So, you may have noticed that we do have our list of things up on stream. Got a range of things to talk about today. I want to talk about what if Shoal was a horror movie, because Doctor Who and I were sat doing a thing last night that I think is interesting. Doctor Who has
absolutely.
a story to read to you. I have done some more on Chapter 3, and I want to talk about what happens when you have a bad week, because I had a bad writing week, and that's fine. That's normal. I also need you guys to give me a little bit of help with Benny, and then we're going to close out today's stream with a little bit of discussion about the importance of fan fiction. But we'll deal with that when we get there. We'll say no more until we do. Oh, is that Lictor? Hello, Lictor.
Yes.
Hello.
One thing, if we'll have that time and we'd like to wade in, I'd like to start a glossary.
Yes, I do
Indeed.
have the intention for a glossary to be a part of things, but I think that maybe needs to be once Doctor Who's wonderful visit is complete. I think that needs to be my priority.
I didn't suggest we'll finish it. I'm just saying that if we'll have that time and people and give people homework, because we need a glossary and
We do, and that needs to go into the compendium as soon as possible, I think.
No, 100%, because a lot of what happened while I was writing this was I didn't necessarily know the right critters, the right words, the right phraseology, and thank you, Lictor, for your wonderful editing.
you're welcome.
We did writing stuff this week, chat. I hope you're proud of us. I have turned Doc up, so hopefully he is a little easier to hear. You guys will let me know if that continues to be an issue, I'm sure.
Indeed.
Okay. I think we've caught up with chat, which is nice. Hang on, another sip of tea. He's good now? Excellent. I did the right
That's
thing. Welcome in,
fantastic.
Blackfire.
Doctor
It's good to
Who.
see you.
Hello, everyone. Sorry,
Right.
I was busy with Doctor Who's story, and I wasn't paying attention at the time.
I did say you'd saunter in when you were ready, and that's completely fine. When do the horse crab races start? Mercury Alpha X, if you're not careful, I'll play an advert at you. I cannot be stopped. I have control of the buttons. I can play terrible adverts at you.
I appreciate your editing pass immensely, immensely, Lictor, and perhaps after I read this, there may be more changes still to come.
Excellent.
Editing is usually not just a one and done. It's often a multiple passes after multiple eyes pass over things, so that will be good. A Pony Lips gym ad? I mean, that could probably happen at some point. Shall I show them what I've been doing this week?
Oh, no. Yes.
Okay.
And keep in mind, the person for whom this is intended to, chat, is ready and willing and definitely will do
we won't
stupid
say
things with
too
it.
much, but yeah, we're making a stupid thing. Let me give
This
this
is
a
the
name so I know what
WBPL.
it is.
We always make stupid things.
We will want to
Yeah.
capture Clip Studio and say, okay, here you go, chat. You guys should be able to see
We are
what I have
all
been working on. And if I move over, I can also show you the colours that this character is going to have. Shading hasn't gone in yet, but this is what I'm working on for reasons. And I'm sure some people will have figured out which clan I've derived this racewear from.
Pay attention specifically to the cape, chat, and see that there is a skull and crossbones.
Yes. Lord Troy says, I've not only started playing horse game, but diving headfirst into the history of horse in said game. That's the problem with Uma Musume. You pick it up and you're like, this is a dumb, silly anime gacha game with idol culture, and I shouldn't like this. It's too cute, and this is kind of a dumb premise, and oh god, where did the last 50 hours go, and how come I now know the names of, like, a bajillion-T Japanese racehorses?
This is what happened with me when I was playing Assassin's Creed 2. Like, half the time I had Wikipedia up to famous Italian landmarks on my laptop.
Oh,
Not falling for an
no.
anime gacha game again, not after Azur Lane. That is completely fair,
Hello?
Samurai. I'm not trying to force anyone to play anything, but for a gacha game, I feel like Uma Musume is one of the better ones. But yeah, don't play anything you don't
Chat,
want.
I am being attacked by an Anka.
Oh no, you've been beagled.
I have been beagled.
Pets have been
it-
redeemed. Please pet that anchor.
She is getting many scritches.
Yes, many pets have been redeemed by Wilf, by UNC Samurai, by Polychromatic Goth Drop, by the Night Owl. At least
Um,
4 different pets have been redeemed.
I'm
Get
past the
beat.
truck, boy.
It has been quite a bit.
um,
Activate defensive pets. I don't think that sentence means what you think it means.
no, no. Or I think they know exactly what they mean.
Possibly. Also,
Indeed.
we have a Zork. Commence war crimes.
Zork, war crimes.
Yes,
Horror.
yes.
What if
What if horror?
Shoal was a horror movie?
Yeah, so let's move on to actually talking about writing stuff and not just showing ponies, because, oh god. Right, so
Has this become a horse and pony show?
the whole sort of channel has kind of gone a bit horse mad over the last week, and it's definitely not my fault. It is Parallax's fault. The whole ridiculous advert that started all of this was Parallax's idea. I just helped. I made a piece of art and I wrote the script. Clearly, none of this is my fault.
It's not your fault, but you are an accomplice.
No court will convict me, because I will bombard them with horse facts.
They shouldn't. It's, you know what? Let's do the easy part. That's chat's fault.
Yes, that is the purpose of chat. And no, Ceres has not peed on anything of Doc's.
They have gotten
Seahorse.
fur everywhere, though.
Yes.
Horse and seal show.
So we can't
I
keep
was-
talking ponies. Corbin, I know where you live.
Yes,
Be
you do. It was
polite
very
for
far away.
horse crimes. Don't send me to The Hague for horse crimes. Send Parallax instead.
Yeah, do something about it, Red. Go visit him.
I would love to. I would even more love to drag him over here. But we'll have to.
Oh my
organise
god!
something.
Every 5 minutes, just driving down the road. Oh my god! Look at that! Y'all are just like, yeah, we live here.
We do love where we live and having people come to see how beautiful it is. It's been very nice having Doctor Who also appreciate the scenery. All right,
is
so Bully Snake
beautiful.
says, you're implying Shoal is not already a horror story. Terror from the Deep is common here. Yes, but we've been doing something specific. So you may remember last year we talked about dark matter on stream at one point, and what a cool setting that is. And the people who worked on that have also worked on a game called Blood on the Lens. And
Let me see if I can't find the link for that.
yeah,
while
if you
are
can
talking.
find the link, that would be great. So, Blood on the Lens is designed to be a tabletop game where you get a group of people sat around a table and you're going to basically sort of do a slasher horror movie or something in the horror movie genre. And it's designed to be sort of a couple of sessions that take a couple of hours each. It's, you know, not as complicated or in-depth as some tabletop games can be, and it has a really interesting character sheet system where you decide your character. There's different options that you'll make, and some of the options go on.
There are 3 important utensils that sit in the middle of the table during every session.
Yeah.
An ink pen, a permanent marker, and a pair of scissors.
Because certain things on your character sheet will get cut off at different points in the story and discarded. So it's a very interesting system.
You take enough damage, you rip off an ability.
Mm-hmm.
It's a style, at least where I come from, we like to call total GMing or total gaming, where the appliances, it's borderline LARP. In certain instances, that's sort of a tabletop game where it's a very curated experience in which they're using storytelling tools in order to narrate a very specific experience, instead of giving the GM a toolbox and telling them, go tell your story with our tools.
This is
Yeah,
more
yeah,
in the
just-
vein of tell your story with our tools by giving you a framework you can do stuff with. So when you look into the book, it gives you sort of a series of settings that you can start with. So it gives you sort of like a series of towns or places. One of them's sci-fi, one of them's, you know, sort of rural Midwest, etc. And it gives you some suggested characters who live in town, some suggested places that are in town, and some suggested factions that operate within town. And it sort of then allows you to build your own threat and mystery that you want the players to uncover using those things, or using ones you can insert of your own. So Doctor Who brought the book over with him when he came to visit. Was like, I'd really love to see if we can make one of these that's Shoal. Could we do
Indeed.
something that would allow you to tell a horror movie story in Shoal in this sort of short session kind of way? So we sat down last night and we were brainstorming about it, and we were having a really good time as we were looking over the different things. And I think the
Just talking about talking about like schlocky 80s slasher movie, which is like what this system is kind of trying to emulate. Dead by Daylight is like a game that Aiden was talking about, and we're just like, yeah, that's the confrontation section of this storytelling system.
yeah, but Blood on
But
the Lens
there's
lets you
also
do the mystery and the setup beforehand. Full Voorhees, yes. So it would
Yes.
you could do that in this. You can do Friday the 13th. You can do Jason. You can do Freddy. All of these things would be replicable in the Blood on the Lens system in an interesting way that's quite quick for people to pick up and sort of, you know, somewhat interactive with the character sheets. And it's not designed to be too long. You could do Alien. You could do Event Horizon. Just whatever you can think of. So we were thinking about a Shoal version. And as we were sat talking about it last night, and these ideas were coming through, I think we're going to try and write a module for it that would be set in Echo's Reach on our map. Because as we
Which
were
is
talking, I had an idea.
where?
because because that's the whole city. Would the dead come to talk to you again?
And all sorts of weird things go on in Echo's Reach. I've just scrolled slightly so people can see the map better. But if you see on the right side where you have the Abyssal Crescent, Echo's Reach is on the bottom of the curve. And Echo's Reach is our city we designed to be sort of somewhat artistic and somewhat weird. You get a lot of dreams there. This is the city that has the catfish Leviathan underneath it, adhered to the walls of the trench that goes down there and helps to cause all of the weird dreams.
Nightmare on Eel Street. Get out of here, Zor. But no, exactly. That is the kind of story that this system is built to replicate.
So we were sitting and thinking of like factions that would be working there, like the Dream Lords that are in charge of the tourism industry but are doing shady stuff behind the scenes, your Tide Wardens, the Leviathan Hunters. We were thinking about all these different factions, archetypes for some different characters that you might run into, and we were having a really good time with it. So what we might do at some point is if we get that all written up, we might do some sort of pickup streams where we maybe play the game or record them and release them as videos and see how that goes. And if it works, sort of release it to you guys, because one of the wonderful things about Blood on the Lens, the
it's
rule
a
set is
collab,
free online.
and I just posted it as I
You
in
did,
chat.
you did. I will pin that for now. We will stick that up for
But
the next
what-
20
but-
minutes.
One of the big things about this system that I loved as part of like one of the physical playtesters, like the man who wrote this is a good friend of mine, and I regularly sit down at his D&D table. One of the reasons why I espouse dark matter so much.
Mm-hmm.
This is not like the kind of TTRPG system where it's the DM's story and you are just operating in their world. No, the players are active participants in writing this story. Like, and so it's like the example I gave Lady Red was part of character development is the director gives you beats that he wants your character to do during the story. Because he thinks it fits with the session and with how your character is developing. One session we had, the DM opened up with like it's a fall night and blah blah blah, and immediately one of the players was just like, "Hey, what about what time of year is it? Late October, late fall?" I was like, "All right, cool. Beat. There's an event in town. It's the Halloween Harvest Festival."
So you,
Okay, I've got to adjust the story.
yeah, so the players get to help shape what's going on as much as the GM does in some ways, and it's a very interesting system. It is a very, very interesting system, and I once Doc sort of like, look, and I want to see if we can do Shoal with this. I was like, that sounds really fun.
No, and it's part of what I want, why I want to do it is just to get a bunch of us a bunch of us who have a mind for storytelling and have stories we want to tell in Shoal, sit down and collaboratively tell a story and flesh out a bit more of Shoal.
And I think it will give us something fun to do, and maybe it becomes a sort of thing that we might be able to do in the Orcs sort of Halloween every year, as we maybe break out Shoal on the Lens, and you play that with some people every year, and make that into a little bit of a thing. That would be really fun.
Blood on the tide.
Blood on the Tide, yes.
Classic horror movie, The Lost Boys.
Yeah, it would be really cool to be able to do things with, this cool thing that we've all created together and sort of put it out into the world in a meaningful way. Scaly Movie 4. We also had Nightmare on Eel Street earlier.
It's 007 all over again.
It is, except we just veered off into the horror genre now.
I mean, Tales from the Crimson World.
Yes.
It's right. It's right there.
What if Lovecraft was psychic and just seeing visions of Shoal? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Mighty Horse in Durpin Rangers. That's a different thing.
Kelp Razor.
Fin Day the 13th.
No, so I want to work with Red about getting this wrote up.
Yeah, get this module all prepared.
Given to all of you, because it came from the Coral Deeper Blue.
Well, so I'm going to give Chat an idea of one of the things that came into my head. So as we were sort of talking about it yesterday, and I had some time to think about it, what I was initially thinking was, what the threat in the initial session I could see in my head, that the threat is a old discarded Titan core that was being pulled up from the deep abyss, but the expedition was killed, but the Titan core is now closer, and it's been lost for so long, it's influencing people in Echo's Reach, and everyone's like, oh no, that's just the normal dream nonsense that's caused by the giant catfish that lives under the city, but it's not.
Of course people have nightmares during these,
but it's not
sometimes.
It's an old Titan core that's corrupted and just wants a new body, and there you go, you're off on your horror movie story. Night of the Living Silence, yes, yeah, we talked about stuff like that as well.
Nobody said Sholoween yet.
Night of the Silent Shells. Eelville Dead. I think Chat's on board with this. I think Chat would be okay with a sort of horror game you could play on Shoal.
What, our chat being on board with weird, wacky ADS that incite horror and tear your sleep away?
I mean, Zork
Our
is here
chat?
this week.
I mean, our chat? No.
Never happened. Yeah, so that's one writing thing we've been doing this week, is looking at Blood on the Lens.
Children of the Coral. Oh God.
Children of the Coral is an exceedingly legitimate faction of priests that absolutely do not want to imprint you on Tab's Coral in their attempt to reach ascension. Of course.
The day of the pinch. Shoal, by way of Alien Isolation, go, if I was any good at coding, I would love to make a game based on Shoal where you are being hunted by something in the vein of Alien Isolation with that kind of AI cleverness. But I am, alas, this is why I desperately need to have immortality. Not because of, wanting world power or anything. There's just literally so many cool things I want to make, and I only have one lifetime worth of learning to do. And I can't do everything, and I'm really annoyed by it. I want to be able to do all the things and just make cool stuff to put into the world. Be like, here, have this thing, go and enjoy it. If it makes you smile, I'm happy. That's why I want to be immortal.
Samurai, yes, no, agreed. Rifts is like a really good like kitchen sink system that you could definitely put Shoal in. And from what I understand of us making the setting is it's system agnostic.
Yeah.
And I just want to use this really adaptable horror specific system to tell creepy stories about what goes bump in the night underneath the waves.
Yes, though once we have, things a little bit more filled out in our compendium, which of course is one of our big things that we're going to do this year. I'm just getting some initial projects out of the way early year so that I'm free and clear to just do that. Coming up with different systems we can use for Shoal or slot Shoal into will be great, but this one will be one that, Doctor Who and I could probably put this entire module together in a week, for example. This would not be that hard to make, but having a more robust TTRPG system for the entire setting later on would also be really cool.
No, I just want to tell a story using this system, using this setting.
Yes. It'll be very, very cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing where Shoal goes. And it's still just mind-boggling to me that this time last year we basically had a series of blank pages and some loose ideas, and now we're here.
Hello, Anka. Hello.
Don't mind me. I'm drawing MechBot.
Excellent. MechBot is very important because we are going to be getting some Shoal STLs this year, it looks like, and this meant that something very important had to happen. Parallax was given Gravenquire to start looking at, and he went, "Need to know what it looks like from behind," which resulted in a conversation with Lictor that basically went, "We need to see Gravenquire's butt."
Hello, Mo. Have you seen yourself?
I think Mo has. I don't think Mo's seen the colour version, though. Would you like to see where we're at, Mo?
Yes.
And then
we're doing things.
Get into some Shoaly fan fiction.
Yes, we will get into some Shoaly stuff. Look, Mo! Look, I've been colouring Thing, TM. That's definitely not being used for weird stuff.
Oh no, it's definitely not going to be cursed.
I have definitely not been looking at various videos that Red had sent me about the proper way to actually do drawing stuff.
Did you find any of them helpful?
I found them motivational.
That's a good start. That is a good start. The exorfished Zork!
Zork, we write this up. You are going to have a field day with this. I just know it.
It will be great. Alrighty, so let me have a look at my main thing. So we've talked about what if Shoal was a horror movie. Doctor Who, would you like to read us the short story you wrote this week?
Yes, I would. Do you have it available to put into Scrivener?
I will be able to momentarily, because I know you linked it. So let me go and open that up. I will copy it into Scrivener, into the correct section, because Community Stories is down here. I can add in a new one and add this text.
Things that go sploosh in the night. Boo! Boo!
Boo this man! Did we come up with a name for this story in the end? Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
A moment in the garden.
Let me rename it then. Okay, yeah, it is up on screen. You are free to start reading at your leisure, and I will scroll at the appropriate points.
So, chat, the opening of this came to me as I was sleep deprived at 7:30 in the morning, finishing up my night shift. A lot of it percolated on my drive home, and then on my layover here to Redville and the Iden Casa, the Desir residence. I threw the rest of it up in an airport terminal. So apologies if it doesn't read well, but this is a moment in the garden. Taran raised his harpoon launcher and aims at the strafing pirate, flitting through the silty murk. He always underestimates the lead time and water drag, So as he pulls the trigger, I correct his aim by 5 degrees. Thump. Crash. Great tide! Direct hit! Taran cries out as the harpoon pierces the pirate cockpit. I can feel his excitement, his mandibles clacking in the ceratinoid equivalent of a grin. He can't feel it, but I can. The pang of psionic backlash as the pilot dies and the Titan falls limp into the kelp and silt. A relief that it isn't awakened. That grief hurts me. I bury the thought and open my shroud to scan for more pirates. You corrected my aim again. Taran sat back in his saddle, his chitinous plates relaxing in a mood as his mood sours slightly. Hey, Annie? Yes, Pilot Taran, I reply, reeling in my shroud, satisfied with no more targets are in the area. How do you do that? He asks in an uncharacteristic contemplation. Do what? Think, he instantly clarified. I consider his query for a pulse. How do you think? I retort. Taran goes quiet as he considers his reply, an unpracticed activity of his. Well, he starts, you're a Titan. We grow and assemble your coral relays and set patterns. So it's not the same as for me, all nerves and impulses. It's some sort of psionic impression. Taran, stop. I cut him off. It was a rhetorical question. How do you think? Oh, I do that. His plates shift as he hides his embarrassment. Well, I guess I just do. That's how it works for me, too. I can't explain it, Ta. I just do. Makes sense. Taran relaxes, satisfied, turning us back to base. I engage my thrusters and move quickly along the seafloor, kicking up a wake of silt as we navigate back. A few minutes of silence later, I feel Taran shift as another uncharacteristic question escapes him. What was it like? He starts. What? Came my nudging reply. I must encourage his curiosity. It's a good habit for him. Waking up, I guess, he eventually states. It has to have been wildly different from us. I always remember thinking. I power down my jets and set us down on a reef outcrop, overlooking a drop-off. That, Ta, is probably the best question you've ever asked. Oh, really? I can tell he's excited from his shift in posture. However, I don't know if I can give you a satisfying answer. Oh, he sounds disheartened. But I will try. I cast my memories back. Further than my concordance. Further than my first unconscious impulses when that clumsy Salation was my pilot. Ta, power us down. All systems but sensor. I will explain and demonstrate. He dutifully powers off our combat systems and auxiliary systems. My arms go limp as my full weight presses in on myself, and I settle into a statue in the coral garden. To start, I am technically a plurality. My designation, Halcyon Animus, is a joining of two temps network. We are two but one, two reefs woven into one mind. I refer to myself as a singular for ease of getting along and conversing with all of you. I can tell this is a bit too complicated a thought for Taran, but tide preserve him, he's trying. Open your shroud, Ta. Cast it as far and wide as you can and empty your mind. Do not think, do not analyze, do not move. Just feel, breathe, experience. I feel his claws drop from the controls, his breathing slow, and his shroud begin to shakily expand. This is quite difficult, he strains. Shush, and just try. He quiets down and complies. There, good. Now what do you feel? What are you experiencing? I hear notes. There's a hum. It is quiet. Almost a buzz? A pulse? A wave? But there are so many notes. Are they responding to the other notes? Singing together? Yes, Ta, they are. Now wait and listen for a moment. A pod of wild hymn fins passes overhead, and their turbulence stirs activity in the reef. The notes are responding, moving with the ripples. I can hear where the flow swept over them. Yes, now a more active example. Sent out a targeted psionic pulse to a cluster of wild temps, coral, activating their store of experience. Ta picks up on this activity. I can hear that. A panic? A predator? Calm. Growth? Feels like ages there. Anka! Anka is protesting.
Anka wants to be a part of the coral.
Yes. The memories of the reef are stored there, Ta. Surface memories, mind you. I am filtering a lot to protect your mind. Every predator that attacked, every calm that encouraged growth, every cycle of Luostra, every pulse of life. That's what I was, Ta. A note, singing a memory as old as the ocean. Beautiful, he softly exclaims, as I could feel him begin to cry. I was a strong note, a chord, or like, several strong notes. When the Titan cultivators found me, they took me, put me in a frame, and there I lay, sleeping and singing until my concordance. It was fits and spurts, not unlike when you Chat, this is why you need to read your work out loud.
Yep.
Which is exactly what I said and done right before you came out.
Not unlike when you are half awake during your rest. Until one day, I was cruising with my pilot and saw the vast ocean below us. I giggle as the memory comes back. I nearly crashed into the transport we were escorting. Tehran's shroud collapses in an instant and he starts shuddering with laughter, his chitin plates rubbing together. You, he splutters, the single most careful Titan in our patrol squad, crashed into a transport? It was a very startling experience, I reply with light indignation. You try waking up and suddenly having sentience thrust upon you. I think I did my best. Tehran continues for a little longer, settling down as he restarts our system. Okay. I get it, Annie. We turn, once again heading back to base. Wait, Annie. Something's there. Tehran stops us in our tracks. Oh, that. No, Tom. Someone is there. Sleeping. I reply, locating the signal. But there's no one out there. Just a bunch of coral. Oh. Ta's a smart crab. He catches on quick. Can we bring them home? Is it safe for us to try? He asks, maneuvering us to the Temp's coral bed from earlier. We brush some kelp away from the coral bed, exposing the node. There it is, pulsing, sleeping, dreaming. No, I don't think so. We are a patrol Titan, not a tender. But we can tuck this one in and report that there is a sleeper out here. Indeed, that makes sense, Annie. We gently tuck the dreaming Temps back into its bed, and turn back to our patrol and return to base. Casting my shroud to the relays, I call out, Tide Warden Patrol Titan 064C, Halcyon Animus, and Pilot Tehran, returning from patrol. As we jet away, I send out one final psionic connection to the node. Hello, little sleeper. When you awaken, we shall sing such a song.
I really liked that. I like the idea of, okay, we've got our patrol Titans, it's a new one, it hasn't woken up yet, we're going to keep them on simple duty, and once they do wake up, you know, that's when the sort of their career starts going a bit further. And the idea of a Titan who'll go on to be a very stoic and dependable Titan, just being like, oh my god, I'm awake, and oh Christ.
If I'm allowed, I really like the contrast with Graven Choir. I mean,
Yes.
this guy, Annie is a chatterbox.
Yes.
She definitely enjoys conversation. She understands
I
that
love
Ta's a
it.
little slow on the uptake, but she's trying to train him to think more critically.
And it's a good
it's the
thing for us
best.
to have, because Titans,
It's-
one of the important things about our mecha in our setting is that they're not just machines. They are their own sort of living people. They might be created by the Shoal putting things together, but they're
They are
individuals.
characters.
Yes,
They're
they are
characters.
individuals.
So it's like what I was trying to highlight with this story was like how different a Titan's journey to sentience and awakening is from a biological creature.
Yes.
From the dare I say, yeah, and this is incorrect, the human residents of Shoal, the like all the different races.
Yeah.
Like keep saying that Titans are fully sentient citizens of Shoal, but how they achieve sentience, how they achieve consciousness is such a wildly different process from biologically derived the biological races of Shoal. I just wanted to kind of like have a conversation between a curious pilot and a Titan who just has to think about, oh, this is how I woke up, and how do I explain that?
Yep, that's beautiful.
And then Lichter and Red have given me quite an editing pass, and I noticed a few grammar things that I need to clean up, but I'm very happy with how that story wrapped up.
Yeah, it was fun. Zork like waking up like Robin Williams in Jumanji. What year is it?
No, 100%, 100%. No, and chat, writing isn't hard. Like, please, like, you have I think the hardest thing to do to begin writing is get a setting. What story do you want to tell? What characters are there? What's the setting? What's all of the stuff? What I love about Shoal is we have the setting. We have a couple of rules about the world. And I think that takes a lot of stress over the initial creation of the story.
We'll come back to that thought later, because that's where the importance of fan fiction comes in, and we will get to that later, because I want that to be our closing hour, for reasons I think you understand. What I am going to do, though, is let you have a chat with Chat and Lichter for a minute. I'm going to pop up for just a moment to use the restroom, and then we'll look at some more stuff.
Lux, we will find a time for you to go on Burrito Wars. I know, everybody would love it.
The Burrito Wars, massive veterans of the Burrito Wars.
Yes.
I've seen them standing outside the Taco Bell at the Taco Bell VFW.
It's been
May
a
their
while.
sacrifice.
It's been a while since I've had Meddox read it out for me. It's been a bit, but how's our time? Thank you, Corbin. We know it's not. No, it's our time.
No, for also writing sake,
Yes.
Mad Ducks, do you have a link to your writing at all that you can post in chat really quick?
Yeah, I remember that being on a website.
Because chat, Mad Ducks is actually a very prolific writer and it has a very, very funny, interesting voice that I've read a couple of his stories and enjoyed them immensely.
Him be doing good job. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And chat, I encourage you to also get a kernel of an idea and roll with it.
Yeah.
That's what I did with Frothing Out. That's what I did with this Moments in the Garden. I had an idea, and I'm just like, all right, let's see where the words take. Just get lost in the writing process. It's scary, but once you start writing, you're just like, oh, this idea needs to come out.
I have returned. I see we are crab raving.
Mm-hmm. We are trying to encourage Ducks to post links to his writing.
Oh, Ducks writes some wonderful things, some very wonderful things,
Yes.
and he is over in the other BPL, which is not the Berkeley Public Library or the Black Pants Legion, but the Black Page Legion, where we do some dedicated writing stuff over there. So if anybody is beginning writing a project and wants somewhere to chat with other writers, DM me, let me know. I will get you in, and we'd love to have you over there.
I may need to get in there if we're going to like properly bang out this Blood on the Lens Shoal write up.
Yeah, that would be a great place to do it, and yeah, we
Because
have some fun times over there.
I have ideas.
Oh no, that's dangerous. You better get a piece of paper and get him down.
My brain has done a thing. Killer clownfish from the outer seas.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
Oh, of course it's Zork. Of course it's Zork. All right, so there was something I wanted to talk about this week on a sort of slightly more serious note.
A bad week for writing.
Bad writing weeks, yeah, they happen sometimes, and they are a normal part of the process. So last week when we were here, we were talking about Chapter 3, and I got you guys...
Oh no, Ducks. On Earth we have B-rated film. On Shoal, they would be C-rated.
Awful. I'd say that was bad, you should feel bad, but it was Ducks, he won't feel bad. My version of ideas. Does create an interesting concept. Does Shoal have B movies or equivalents? Absolutely. I see no reason why they shouldn't.
We have fucking Bubble 07.
Yeah, we do have Bubble 07, you're right. There's clearly going to be some kind of Austin Powers version of Bubble 07 movies.
I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe some sort of 5D choral movie experience, but
Well, yeah, because
like
with
how-
Temps
like
Coral,
how
you can
I-
relive things. So I'm certain.
Austin Flounders.
I just want to point out, imagine be the temp squirrel. Be that dude. Be that person. That plurality of voices that being used as a recording for the same experience, then being watched generation after generation after generation.
What is my purpose? You show shitty movies. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason why the concept of, you know, a movie theater and stuff you can watch at home, surely can do that. They just do it in a very different way to us.
I mean,
Go ahead.
that is exactly what temp squirrel is. I mean, it's codified memory in a piece you can take home with you.
Okay, I know what the homework for this week is going to be, chat. We are going to have homework this week, and watching what's going on in chat, I know what it is. Your homework this week is to come up with horror movies on Shoal. You have to give a title and also a brief synopsis of what the movie is about. And go and put all those terrible puns to use, same as we did for Bubble 07.
Exactly.
That is your homework this week. Should you
Exactly
choose to
like
accept
Word
it?
Breaker.
Lady Red.
Yes.
You had a bit of writer's block this week.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it writer's block so much as a bad writing week. And, you know, it is something that I want to talk about as, you know, we do talk about the process of writing, and we try to be at least, 2% educational every week on this stream, I swear. Sometimes when you're working on a project, especially if you're working on a project that you're intending to put in front of other people and you maybe have a deadline in front of you, and this can apply to all of the arts, it's always different when you're not just creating something for yourself. Once you have a sort of audience or a client base or whatever, it does put a little bit of a different emphasis on things that you're going to do and how things turn out. For example, I've always enjoyed doing art. I wasn't a professional until the last few years when I was given the right push in the right direction to actually develop my skills meaningfully, and then I fell into the right communities, including, of course, this one that you guys have been stuck with me for over 2 years now, and, you know, that's been great. But the way that I feel when I'm working on something I'm doing just because I want to do it versus working on something that's a commission or a request or is going to be part of a project that somebody else is putting out onto this channel or whatever, it's a very different feeling. And there are times where you have to weigh up what's going on in your brain with what your commitments are. If I'm doing something just for me and I'm having a day where I'm like, I just can't be bothered today, I'm not feeling it, I've pulled a muscle, I'm in a bit of pain, I don't really want to do this, I just want to sit and play video games, I can just sit and play video games and there's no guilt attached to that. On the other hand, if you have a commission and you have a deadline that you're working to, especially if your commission is part of some greater project, you can't really just say, well, I feel crap today and I can't do it. There needs to be days where you push through. It might not be the best day for doing it, but it's got to get done. But then, of course, there's also going to be days where you're genuinely too sick or not capable of doing the job, and any work that you do will just be terrible. It will be rubbish. And I think that's one of the marks of a sort of more professional, more advanced artist, whether it's, drawing, sculpting, writing, whatever it is learning that balance between when you do legitimately need to take a break and when you do need to push through whatever's in front of you. And Shoal can be a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B for me. I work on Shoal because I love it. It was why this idea was initially presented to this group and has grown into the wonderful thing that it is. But at the same time, you guys come here every week and very kindly give me your time and attention. And Lictor very kindly joins me every week. Doctor Who is nearly always in chat and is joining me physically today. I always want to have something to put in front of you guys. I don't ever want to have a week where I'm like, yeah, I just didn't get anything done this week. So, there'll be times to push through. And that was what I was aiming to do this week. But it turned out I was in a position where everything I did was just crap. Well, not everything that I did, but as I was writing, as I was writing on, what we input last week, my ideas and brain were in the right place, but what was coming out on paper was just wrong. The feel wasn't there, and I just wasn't in the right zone. So some of what I wrote, I'm happy with. A lot of what I wrote, I'm not happy with, and I know I'm going to have to go back over this at some point. And I don't feel guilty about it, because this is sort of the first week that's really happened with this project, and it's fine. It's not like I didn't try. It's not like, the sun's going to fail to come up tomorrow. And there is some stuff that I got done that is of use. But there's also...
I have done my daily sacrifices. Don't worry. Someone has made sure that the sun will rise.
Yes. Someone somewhere has sacrificed somebody. It's fine. The sun will come up tomorrow.
Don't worry. Yes. No. It's not all on you. We're a team.
Yes.
Sacrifices has been made.
And it's like, if you have an off week, like you can come to us hat in hand and say, it's just like, chat, I had an off week. Can we just kind of
we'll just do something
talk
else
about
for the week.
Something else creative here?
But it was something I definitely wanted to talk about this week, because I think for some people, writing can feel, or creativity in general can feel very intimidating, because what if I fail? And what if I fail if you're just doing it for yourself isn't such a big thing. It's like, well, I tried something, it didn't work out. Did I have fun? Yes or no? If I didn't, I might not go back to it again. If I did have fun, I'll try it again and hopefully I'll do better next time. That's fine. That's a very easy thought process. But when it's, oh, but I was going to present this, I wanted to bring this in front of these people. What if I fail? I can't, I can't possibly do this at a more professional or more extroverted level, because if something happens and I don't do it, people are going to be mad at me or disappointed. And all of a sudden you've put this huge roadblock in your own head that only makes either writer's block or any concerns that you're having immeasurably worse. And then you just end up with a blank page, and we don't like blank pages. It's
negative spirals happen.
Yes. And it is fine to have a week where you don't produce, you don't manage to get out perfection, but if you've worked on the ideas at all, and even if your bad writing has allowed you to figure out where your good writing will need to go to not make the same mistake, that's still progress. Yeah, Rimwood Herald is making the very valid point. You only learn if you fail, and you only have the right group. And if you have the right group, failing can in fact be sort of fun. Yes, it's why children are so successful at learning. You had this whole thing with people will tell you, oh, no, it's so easy to learn when you're a kid, but once you're an adult, everything becomes so much harder. there's
It's
not...
because we're scared of failing.
Yes, there's not actually any difference in the capacity of your brain to learn new things. It's the ingrained socialization that starts to play into it. Because as a child, the expectations on you are different to as an adult, including your own expectations. A child babbling bad English at you is completely fine. They're a child. They haven't learned how to pronounce these things yet. How to use words in a more complex manner because they've only been alive for but so long, and this takes time. So society gives children space to get it wrong and help them to get it right. And the child doesn't know any better, so they don't judge themselves. Thus, children will fail upwards until they succeed. That becomes harder as an adult, especially with the way society is built, that once you get to a certain level and you're doing things on a professional scale, if you fail, that's resources or time or whatever that the company is upset about or your manager's upset about. And you start learning these ways of just sticking within your comfort zone. And if you are going to push the envelope, you push it a lot more with a lot more consideration and a lot more safeguards in place. And we don't always let ourselves fail spectacularly so that we can improve from that failure. And learning to overcome that is really helpful.
No, failure is a part of learning.
Yes, it is a critical part of learning.
One of my favorite quotes about learning and what was taught to me by my coding professors was fail faster.
Yes, and that's very, very important for art stuff. A lot of art goes through an ugly phase, whether it's writing, drawing, whatever. A lot of art goes through an ugly phase, and learning to tell the difference between this is an ugly phase that will be a beautiful swan on the other side versus this is an ugly phase that kind of needs to fall into a dumpster full of fire and we get a nice clean sheet of paper. That is, again, the mark of a experienced and mature artist.
No, as shitty as Thomas Edison was, like, what's the quote about him? Like, oh, he learned 100 ways not to make a light bulb or something like that. Just failure is a part of creation.
Mo says, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Success requires a lot of experience. Yes, it's very true. It's very, very true.
100%.
And there's the tiny little bit that Greeks likes to call wisdom, and that's when pay attention to other people failing as well.
Yes. A good artist creates, a brilliant artist steals. And stealing other people's failures so you don't have to make them yourself is as important as stealing their successes. And again, there's something we're going to come to at the end of this stream that is very much, I am stealing from this person's failures so I don't make the same mistakes. I'm going to learn from them.
Fail often, fail confidently, and always pay attention.
Yes.
Absolutely, Kai. Rough drafts are meant to be rough. They're attempts to at least get clay on the spinning wheel.
Correct. And that's the biggest thing.
I want to send you something.
Go for it. It's one of the biggest things we've said on this stream for the entirety of the last year we've worked on this is the worst thing that you can have is a blank page. It is better to get down bad writing and learn from it than to get down nothing at all and to let the fear of creating get in the way of creating. So I had a bad week this week. I've written some stuff I'm going to read to you guys. Mostly it's the parts that I think I did okay on. I've got a whole load of stuff that's blocked out. I've got things I'd like you guys to help me with, and I didn't get a great amount done this week, and that's okay.
No, so the blank page, it's just like I'd been saying for weeks in chat. It's just like, oh, I want to make this Titan story and blah 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 blah. I just don't know where to start. And then just like that wild idea came out in my sleep-addled brain, and then I sat down in front of that blank page. I started writing. I didn't like half of the stuff that I was writing, so I rewrote a little bit of it. But once I started writing, I'm just like, man, I can't stop.
That's always a wonderful feeling when that happens. Do you want me to show this to chat, Lictor, or is this just for feedback?
I think it's a nice representation of how to fail forward.
Okay, I will show chat then.
Example A.
Give me a minute to save
I
this.
sent it to you as well, Dr. Who.
I'll show everybody.
Okay.
Aiden says,
Oh,
mecha butt.
that's a crab butt.
That's crap. But
Right,
yeah,
let
I'm.
me-
By the way, if Chat would like to give me feedback about the things I'm doing absolutely horribly, that might be a good thing too.
You don't do a
But,
hell of a lot absolutely horribly is the problem. Okay, so we have, here's Graven Choir, who I absolutely love his design, and I got to see where Lictor started with this design, and his refinement over time to get to where we're at has been wonderful, but he now needs to show Parallax what the back of the mech looks like, and this is where we're currently at. I really like the shape language of the middle image, but I feel he's leant too far forward. I prefer the posture of the right image. But yeah, I think you're doing good work towards getting this right. And I love that when we first said this to Lictor that we needed Graven Choirs, but he hadn't even had his coffee yet, and he just drew a massive pair of buttocks in the middle of the screen. It was great.
I love Kai. Damn boy, he thick.
hey, it's in the story. Okay. And
Briefs on the right, bare ass in the mid.
Choir, put some clothes on, Jesus.
Look, we whole ass our
We
shit
do
post,
a whole
okay?
ass our shit post. We do not have our
Okay.
shit posts around here.
And then And then sometimes a shoal happens.
channeling
The kids and cringing onto myself.
I need someone to explain to me this reference.
Oh dear, yeah. The
need
youth are
someone to-
currently trying to re-embrace cringe culture, but they know nothing of true cringe. Again, the last hour of this stream is going to be interesting because we got some cringe for you.
We are going to be talking about cringe.
The enemy keeps being alerted by the clapping sound of him walking. Yes.
If you can't hear a medium titan walking around, you're not listening. Hell, you probably ain't awake.
Alrighty, let me turn
Yes,
off
yes, let's-
Graven Choir's wonderful ass cheeks.
Yes,
And I'm going
yes,
to move
yes,
us down to some of what I wrote for Chapter 3 this week from where we left off. We'll have a little look at that. I need you guys to help me with a thing, and then we will move on to the other things we have for this week. Alright, so...
I am going to grab an alcohol.
You should do that.
Okay.
You should do that.
And you
That sounds
should
like
tell
a
me
cool
what
idea.
kind so I can match you.
That is a very good point.
Uh,
Aiden has reminded me. So, chat, please encourage Doctor Who to go and get alcohol because it is a special day today. It is Doctor
is?
Who's birthday. Please wish the
Oh,
good doctor a happy birthday in chat. If you don't, we will sing at him.
Happy solar orbit. Happy solar orbit completion. May you
have a
speed
locally
around
porter,
Saul.
chat.
You can tell them when you get back. Many happy
Okay.
birthdays coming in. Good, yeah. We took Doctor Who down to Deception Pass Park. We had a walk around, and it was lovely today because it's cold here, but it's not freezing. So we had frost all across the beach and on all of the driftwood, all the ferns.
My friends and family are so jealous of me being up here where it is cold but pleasant, because where I am from, it is now 0 degrees and we are about to get dumped on with snow.
I wish it would snow up here because it is beautiful when it snows, but the frost today was absolutely gorgeous. We picked a good day to go to the park.
Red, does Ducks have permission to come aboard?
Yeah, sure. You want to pop in, Ducks? Absolutely.
So yes, I have a locally brewed, at least in the area, porter. I love sampling local brews. This is a 9-pound porter. Love me my dark beers.
Then I'm going to get my locally brewed whiskey and
Ooh.
bring to toast together to your completion of another solar circle
Yes.
moment.
Quack.
Quack. Hello, Ducks. How are you?
How are y'all?
Doing good.
Um,
Doing good.
Having a pleasant time. Congratulations on your roof.
Yes. I bodged a temporary fix until roofing can happen by people more trained than myself. Yeah, Chad's probably wondering, what about his roof? We have a spot that stopped being a roof and started trying to be a pool, and turns out it's incontinent.
Hey there. Okay.
It's not ideal.
I am toasting to you with milk and honey elements single malt whiskey.
Oh, that
Ooh.
sounds pleasant.
That
It
does sound to try. I have like 10 minutes, but I just came in to say happy hatching day, Dr. Chef. I think of you as a good duck.
Very
Thank you.
much
That
so.
means more to me than you can possibly imagine.
Happy
That's
birthday,
good
Doc.
because it's my honest opinion.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
good people around here. This whole Legion thing, it seems to be full of rather cool people.
Yeah.
Well, it's full of people.
And then there's
And
those
the dog.
orcs guys. They're pretty good too.
And that's
There
the
is a
other
l-
which are missing.
There is a lot of talent represented in the Ox. There are so many
There
very
is.
talented people.
I am proud to call everyone that I have interacted with in the BPL and the Ox at large a good friend. I know I know I do not know enough of you as well as I should, but the people I know are you all are absolutely wonderful people and continue to be awesome. Thank you for the birthday wishes.
Yeah.
You've reminded me of Bilbo Baggins. I know half of you. No, how did that go? I don't like half of you half as well as you deserve, and I forget the other half. I've failed. I have failed.
You're fine.
I promise you. That ship has flown.
Alrighty. Right, we are going to do this bit of reading so that we have time for even more things today. Where am I supposed to be reading from? Here we go. So last week when we were here and we were talking about chapter 3, we had our Titans arriving and meeting up with Umi and our human character Jake, and then them tethering to the Titans to leave for Gleamwake. I got you guys to give me some ideas of things we needed to do for that, and that's what I was working on this week. And I didn't have the best week, but I did do some stuff. So I'll read you what I've got that I like, and we'll go from there.
Indeed. The floor is yours. Not like this isn't your stream slot anyway.
I mean, I barged in the quack at y'all, but I've got to skedaddle because life calls, and I have work to get back to.
Good luck
Ladies and
with
gentlemen,
life. Beat it into submission.
Go make the money, have fun, tell your local flock that they are good people.
Yes.
I will tell Shyla that you have said hello at the very least. When I said it was your hatching day, she said, go tell him happy birthday. So here we are. And next time you are in town, we will cook food Shyla level spicy and see if we die.
That sounds dangerous.
No breaks, ducks. No breaks.
Y'all think I have?
Dies,
a high
he
spice
dies.
tolerance? Yeah.
If I die, I die.
Y'all think I have a high spice tolerance because I'll like eat ghost peppers and I go to the Thai place and I tell them to try to kill me, and so far only one of them has succeeded in coming close.
We maced the house, and Shyla was cool as a cucumber, turned on a fan, and ushered me into the other end of the house and said, "Don't die, please."
Right. And
Did
to
you
my
die?
credit, I just pulled.
Wait a minute. Did you die?
No, I didn't. Wait,
Oh,
no,
okay.
did I? Is this all just a hallucination in my dying moments?
You need better hallucinations. That's all I'm saying. But no, like
And this, ladies and gentlemen, why we have ducks here.
Yes.
I'm good for moral support and general confusion, or confusing generalities technically. But anyway, again, I'm out. I have come. I have sown chaos. I've said quack. I think I said quack.
You did.
Doesn't matter. Y'all have
Your checklist is done.
excellent day. This has been a success. I'm making a note here. Huge success.
Excellent.
Good. Let's go.
Quack. Thank you, Mad Dogs. Right.
Absolutely love that, man.
Reading. You guys enjoy your alcohols. I shall read for a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
By the time Echo and Nick reached the rendezvous, Gleamwake filled half the sky. From below, the migratory city was a dark mass against the brighter water, an irregular shape bristling with structures and slow-moving fins. The city was moored to and around a vast pod of sub-leviathans known as Goliaths. Each represented an immense dark blot of slow-moving fins and hardened scale, their broad backs bristling with dwellings, nets and docked vehicles. Between them, strung with lights and massive cables, hung the platforms, frames and drifting buildings that made up the rest of the wake and tied the city together. To locals and visitors alike, that web was known as the Drags, first stop for anyone entering Gleamwake. As they came closer, Jake could see traffic. Small service mechs, rider teams, cargo pods drifting in tow, a line of security titans that detached from the underside of the Goliaths and buildings to check each incoming shipment. Currents bent around the city's bulk, sending eddies curling back towards the gorge. Gleamwake rode the currents the way a storm might ride a jet stream, its path broad but implacable. "Welcome to the back door," Umi said as Echo's engines throttled down. "No real residents here, only workers, haulers and guests, those who come and swiftly go." Echo slowed to a stately crawl, matching speed with the Goliaths. Ahead, the drag's main intake gate came into focus. A broad, open rectangle set into a central platform, its interior a haze of disturbed water and flashing warning glyphs. Just in front of it, there was a jam. Jake's suit magnified the cluster for him automatically. A knot of figures hovered in the water lane nearest the gate, arguing with 3 compact warden frames and a line of smaller, armour-plated security staff strung across the entrance like a living net. One figure dominated the dispute. She was ceratinoid, crab-built and thick-shelled, her carapace a patchwork of old scars and newer shell growth. And I would like chat's help to describe her when I'm done reading, because this is Jabra and we need to write what she looks like. But I'll finish reading before we come back to it.
I do like how she sounds so far.
She floated with the borrowed poise of someone who had once been obeyed by entire decks and now had to shout to get a single gate open. "Contract is library-backed," she was saying when Jake's external mics finally cut the noise into sense. "Stamped by a temple guardian. You denying that stamp?" The nearest warden mech, barely half Nick's size, legs braced in a gate slot, folded its arms. "This entry node is for scheduled residents and fleets," it replied, voice tinny compared to the base presence of the titans behind Jake. "Mercenary units go to the aft staging spine and wait for—" "You want us to circle in the current for another 3 hours?" the ceratinoid snapped. "With my crew carting goods for a scheduled expedition you don't want to believe exists?" Behind her, a handful of Shoal bristled and muttered. Jake caught rapid glimpses. 4 rough-looking types hanging close to the ceratinoid and 6 others spaced behind. A round-bodied podland fussing with a crate. A spare, shy-looking cephalonid clutching a slim bandolier of Temps coral. Someone in a sleek mechanics frame with tool glyphs etched all over one arm. A shallow-water ceratinoid whose shell was thinner, limbs longer, med case strapped across their back. A figure with delicate sensory rigs wrapped around their head, shroud flickering in precise measuring beats. His future colleagues, bickering with city security. "This is going to be our family," Kilo said dry. "We are doomed." "Echo?"
Sorry.
"Echo?" Umi said. "May I?" "Of course," Echo replied. Nick needed no further prompting. He flared his thrusters and surged forward, the water bowing around his hull. Echo followed at a measured distance, her mere mass enough to send a hush rolling through the local song ahead of her. The effect was immediate. Arguments that had been heating towards another round of snarling broke off as the shadow of a tide warden fell over the gate. Shrouds pinched tight. The smaller warden frames straightened, armour lights snapping from warning amber to crisp, disciplined blue. "Tide Warden Patrol Titan 00 Alpha Phalonic on final," Nick announced, accompanied by Library Temple Guardian 50 X-Ray Mentum on contract business with Gleamwake. "Why are my convoy assets arguing at your door?" There was a special flavour of silence that came when a much bigger gun asked a very reasonable question.
I like that.
The gate warden's optics flickered between Nick's ID glyphs, Echo's looming bulk, and the cluster of mercenaries. Jake could almost hear the recalculation happening. "Warden Phalonic," it said at last. "We were instructed to—" "Your instructions did not include delaying a library convoy," Echo said. She did not raise her voice. She didn't need to. The drag's coral hummed with the weight of her presence, the kind of slow, inexorable bass note you get right before a shelf of reef shifted a few centimetres and turned a current. "Stand down," Echo went on. "Admit our security unit and attach specialists. Bill any complaints to Minaseo under contract code OLAM 7. That did it. Security shrouds flickered with frustration and something like relief. The warden mechs peeled back from the gate, leaving the entrance clear. The rank-and-file guards unlinked arms, drifting to the side with the resigned obedience of people who had just lost a petty power fight to someone far, far above their pay grade. The ceratinoid captain turned slowly in the water, pivoting on one powerful leg. Her eye stalks tracked up and up as Nick and Echo came fully into view. "Well," she said, voice growing a shade drier, "if it isn't the cavalry." "Jabra Crackshell," Umi called, swimming forward a few body lengths. "It is gratifying to see I chose the right team. Your arrival has been prompt." Her shroud prickled with wariness, old habits and newer pride. Then she gave a short, sharp nod. "We keep our agreements," she said. "These are the 4 from my old deck. Got your library folk all here, all breathing, and only 2 complaining, so I'd say we did good. Where's the surface born?" "Right here," Jake said before he could stop himself. He regretted it a second later as 3 pairs of eyes and at least a dozen sensory organs swiveled his way. Jabra's gaze raked his exosuit with practiced appraisal, lingering on his head, then on each of his joints and his thrusters. Her claws flexed once thoughtfully. "Looks fragile," she decided. "We'll keep you out of the heaviest crossfire." "There's not supposed to be crossfire," Jake said. "That," said one of the rough-looking ex-crew behind her, "is adorable." "Inside," Echo cut across, patient but inexorable. "We're on a schedule. The Drags is not a place to loiter." The gate's warning glyphs shifted to welcoming greens. Water began to pull gently inward, the beginning of a managed flow. "Come," Umi said. "Let us be guests instead of obstructions." They went in. The Drags felt like swimming into an immense auditorium from a madman's painting. The intake corridor was a long, well-guarded current clear of Goliath fins or building fronts. At its end, it opened up into a veritable dome of space between the massive swimming beasts of the wake, every curve dripping with descending ramps, building intakes, or inviting storefronts. Maintenance drones scuttled between dock points, ignoring the procession entirely as it filed along the central lane and into the open bowl of the Drags. Jake felt like a child at Christmas, unsure where to settle his gaze for even a moment before something else grabbed his attention. At least until his suit flashed a warning on his HUD. Radiation levels were rising. "You are entering proximity to the surface," Kilo said. "Remember your training. Do not exit a sealed space without checking atmosphere composition. Shoal's air may be breathable, but the radiation is not for you." "I know. We'll be okay," Jake asserted, more for himself than Kilo. "The Drag's upper structures are shielded," Umi said, "but the surface is never friendly. We go above because it is useful, not because it is pleasant." "For you too?" Jake asked. "For everyone," Umi said. "The song does not carry well out of water. Dryness and light are loud." His shroud flexed in a faint shudder. "Come, you will see." They continued up between 2 descending buildings towards a space big enough for Titans. Inside, they reached a wide chamber where the water ceased. The shaft terminated in a round bulkhead ringed with locks. Above it, through a thick, transparent membrane, Jake could see air, a shimmering boundary where the water ended and another medium began. Beyond that, blurry shapes of structures and something like sunlight, broken into a thousand hard shards by whatever shielding lay above. "Primary Drag's dry dock," Kilo fed him from the local net. "Pressure compatible with your suit. Atmosphere hostile without filters. Recommend keep helmet on, but you can open your vents for fresh air." "Noted," he said. They queued through the lock-in waves. Nick went first, his massive frame disappearing up and out in a churn of displaced water. Echo followed, the lock membrane deforming around her hull like a soap film around a fist, then snapping back as she pushed through into the airspace above. When it was their turn, the pressure differential tugged at Jake's suit as they rose. Water fell away from his helmet, liquid streaming off his frame in rivulets. The world went from blue-green to a harsh, pale light. Then he was standing on metal. His exosuit's feet met a solid surface with a dull clang. For the first time in hours, his body had a clear down once again. He stood on the wet floor of a massive dry dock basin, drainage channels sluicing water away beneath the grates. Overhead, the sky wasn't open, but covered by overlapping plates of pale stone and shield lattice, tinted to smear the star's raw light into something survivable. Even so, his visor darkened a shade, filters adjusting. Beyond the dock's edge, he could see more platforms linked in a broad ring. The Drag's surface level. Yurt-like structures huddled there, squat and round, each capped with arrays of thin, flexing panels that tracked the distant sun and the planet's radiation belts. Between them, slender masts rose, topped with spinning vanes, collectors sucking energy from the constant particle sleet sluicing off the system's magnetic field. Shoal's people moved here too, better built for the surface than Jake could hope to be. Laticals dove in and out of the surface pools with grace, hauling the lighter loads between mediums. Podlands moved slower, attending to dock equipment and cargo with equal aplomb, resting inside their shells between jobs. Ceratinoids dominated the dock front, though, striding the boundary between air and water with confidence born of thick shells and tough constitutions. Above water here, it seemed, was business, not pleasure. Jake's HUD pinged. "Look starboard," Kilo said. He did. Just off the drag's outer ring, half submerged between two of the escorting Goliaths, something large loitered in the water. At first he thought it was just another mech. Then it moved in a way no mere machine ever quite managed. A slow, luxuriant stretch that rippled through muscle and coral both. Another Titan. Jake watched, fascination deepening as he realised this particular Titan bore no real resemblance to any he had seen before. Like Echo, it seemed to be a broad and particularly large specimen, but its armour was still more aged, pitted and worn than even the venerable Temple Guardian. Algae, small corals and sponges proliferated in its joints and crevices, and when it thrummed, the water rippled around it like an excited pond. Biolight infused in the aged carapace rippled playfully, drawing in nearby shoalie. The group rode the currents along the Titan's sides, appendages hooking into grown-in harnesses. At a hand signal from one of them near the crab-like head, the Titan angled his head toward the drags. With the kind of casual power that made Titans look almost modest, he pushed upwards. Water cascaded off his flanks as he shouldered into one of the dry dock's adjoining basins, massive body making the whole platform shiver. Shield plates overhead flexed to accommodate the spray. Shoalie clung and laughed, their suits bright spots against his dark hide. The Titan's front half came to rest on the sloped stone of the basin, his back still in the water. He sighed, a sound like a cavern breathing, and settled down, closing eyes the size of Jake's chest. "Is that?" Hordaka's voice crackled across the local channel, awe and amusement tangled. "He's beached himself to nap." "He does this," Umi said. "Benny likes the Goliath wake. The big ones the big ones throw interesting currents. He also likes to frighten visiting captains." "Benny?" Jake asked. "Hordaka will tell you later," Umi grinned. "For now, we must get ourselves situated." There was no time. There was no time.
No, I particularly like that. He beached himself to nap. Indignant. Just the awe of the Titan. He's taken in a nap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Benny's piloted by a hermit crab. He wants to nap. There was no time to go closer. No chance for anything more than that glimpse. Crew were already being waved onwards. "Convoy members," called a drags coordinator from a raised platform, voice amplified by a local song node. "Housing unit D37, follow the marker." A strip of light lit up across the dock floor, pulsing gently in the direction of one of the yurts. Umi gestured with a lower hand. "Come, Jake. You may take off your exosuit there and complain about gravity and comfort." "Can't wait," Jake said.
I love Umi. He is everything I wanted out of a disgruntled old commander.
I'm really glad you like how I'm currently writing him.
He's perfect.
Their assigned residents sat on the inner ring of the drags, half looking out over the docking basins, half facing in toward the city. Up close, it did indeed resemble a massive yurt. Circular footprint, low curved walls, roof rising to a shallow peak supported by pillars around a central warmth pit. The roof was the clever part. Thin film collectors rippled across it like scales of some metallic fish, each panel adjusting its angle with the slow precision of a sun-hungry plant. Between them, etched channels glowed faintly, transporting harvested energy down the walls to the structure's base and into the rock in the centre for heating and cooking. The whole yurt hummed with a quiet, contented power. "Drag standard expedition pod," Kilo supplied. "Power budget is adequate to run life support, communications and a modest kitchen. Please resist the urge to plug in experimental equipment without asking. Noted, Jake said. Inside, the floor was ringed with low platforms and basins for various body types. A central table rose from the ground, multi-tiered so creatures of different heights could reach something. Environmental controls kept the air thick and moist, with vapour jets feeding into water features along the walls. For the first time since leaving his hab, Jake stepped out of his exosuit. The process was slower than in the moon pool back at Songgorge. Here, the suit crouched onto a docking frame, seals cycling to keep the overwater atmosphere out. Once his impulse layer had done a quick pressure check, the suit opened into a stoop, letting him slither out onto the metal grate. He wobbled. Muscles that had been thinking in Titan scale resistances protested the sudden return to nominal gravity. His knees threatened to fold. Only a quick grab at a handrail saved him from demonstrating Earth's most embarrassing yoga move in front of a room full of near strangers. Graceful, someone said. He turned to see the podland he'd spotted earlier, watching him from a water basin near the wall. The man was broad even for his kind, his shell domed and polished, tentacles resting on the basin's edge. He wore a harness laden with pouches and tools, and his shroud smelled, figuratively, of spices and logistical exasperation. Uncle Jolly, Umi said by way of introduction. Cook and quartermaster. Uncle to too many people, Jolly said, but I suppose I can add one surface-born for a few weeks. I'll need to know what you can and can't eat, however. Kilo will be able to give you a meaningful list, sir, and thank you in advance. Around them, the others were settling in. Jabra took a spot near one of the door flaps, back to the wall, claws resting on her knees in a posture that still said, alert. Her 4 security crew gravitated near her. 5 of the library hires clustered more loosely. The cephalonid, Jake noted, was not among them. Land was as hostile to the soft-bodied sapients as water was to him. No doubt they were inside Echo with Mags, enjoying an enclosed pool instead of the difficulties of air. The shallow-water ceratinoid medic, all long limbs and nervous shroud, fussed with a med case and made a point of checking where everyone's emergency masks were. Jake took a bowl from Jally when it was handed to him, recognising it as from his own mess pack. The food inside was a thick stew that hit his senses as too high in salt and too low in recognisable ingredients, but his nose liked it. Spices, fats, some kind of roasted algae. On the hot rock, a pot no different than one might find on Earth bubbled. The difference was the collection of enormous barnacles around it, sealed along their edges. That counted as the more normal serving bowls for Shoal. The proteins are digestible for you as long as you do not skip your daily pills, Kilo reported. I believe you will find it appetising. It smells delicious, Jake murmured. It's nothing like something hot to bolster the spirit. Do not compliment my stew with words, Charlie said. Instead, use actions. Eat. That is the best compliment. They did. And then I started flowing into a section that I'm not happy with, where I started... What I was trying to do was start the sort of, inter-crew personal connections, and the chat just isn't flowing right. So from this point onwards, I'm not happy. I need to come back to it. I've struck through a lot of this. This is the section where I need to have people talking to each other, and my head just wasn't in the right space. So this is where my bad writing week really kicked in.
Up until okay, you've done excellent up until now, and we will make excellent. This is what Drafts of War. It's no longer an empty page.
Yes, and it's better to have stuff I like.
Don't want.
Exactly. So,
yeah, you know what the page shouldn't look like.
Correct,
and that's just as important as it having stuff on it.
So let's see what chat is saying.
Beginning to like these guys. They may end up stealing the show. I think that was in response to Jabra and her crew getting accosted by the dock guards.
Gothrop says, I'm getting Atlantis vibes, and now I want the podland to go full cookie about the 4 food groups.
Bean bacon, bean bacon's whiskey and lard.
The Pip-Book punctuated that perfectly. Yes, he had opinions. Extended dialogue can be tricky. It can. With dialogue, I always end up in one of 2 camps. Either what I'm writing because I know the scene, I know the characters, I know the personalities. I'll find writing the dialogue really easy, and I'll have to write all of the dialogue out first and then go back and put the speech tags and the movement and the descriptions in between the individual things people are saying. afterwards, and I find that part tedious. Or other times I end up where I am now, where I know the scene and I know where people are and I know the vibe that I want to go for, but the actual conversation just isn't flowing right now. But that's okay. I'll come back to it on a day when it is, and then that will be fine.
Excuse me, I just burped right into the microphone.
Oh, that was kind of you. I'm sure chat loved that. ASMR with dogs. All right.
No, I'm sure Lichter and I absolutely giggling like madmen when you've read a couple of these things.
Honestly, as a writer,
yes.
that's one of the best things is when somebody's reading your work or you're reading it to them and they have an involuntary emotional response of any kind. You're like, yes, that means I did my job.
No. Can you scroll down a little bit from where you are right now to where
I think this was the first line that got you.
Yes. This is going to be our family. We are doomed. And then the line. Yes.
I've just got it in my head that Kilo is very faintly sarcastic.
No, and it worked.
British.
It worked so much. And then I love the scene of all of the Titans and the Tide Wardens and Echo and Mags just coming out and just being like, guys, she's right. She has the stamp. Let them through. And they're just like, shit, I don't get paid enough for this.
I'm not going to argue with a fully armed patrol Tide Warden. Or a temple guardian that's going to report back to my bank that I was being a shit.
This line right
get
here.
your credit card revoked.
This line right here looks fragile. We'll keep you out of the heaviest crossfire. There's not supposed to be crossfire, he says with slight indignation. That is adorable. That guy knows exactly how this is going to go.
He's from a pirate crew. As far as he's concerned, there's no such thing as a milk run.
If there's no crossfire, there's also no payday. So
The line right above that as well. He regretted it a second later as 3 pairs of eyes and at least a dozen sensory organs swiveled his way at once. That just, I think, subtly highlights the alienness of these creatures.
Yes, and that's the sort of thing that you want to...
Can we put ganglions in there somehow?
I'm sure we'll find a way. They'll turn up at some point.
No, if this is writer's block, this is really competent.
It was when I got to the conversation section that it really hit. The rest of it was okay.
It's a milk run as long as you don't need to bother the doctor too much.
The right of way belongs to the Tide Warden, yes. Wilf is saying, I tend to play a movie in my head, then try to describe it in text. That's a really good way to start writing a scene. And can be great overall. The important thing to do when you're doing writing and you're doing that is, yes, absolutely do that. But remember that film and movies have different shorthand and different pacing to books. So once you've done it, it's important to go back and read through and see if you need to change where any of the elements are, what's revealed when. You can hide things in narrative to reveal later in different ways to how you do in movies, and vice versa. Because sometimes when you put things in text,
never as a stage play.
Yeah, write it as a movie, but edit it as a book.
Lady Red, I believe within arm's reach of you, you have a certain book.
I do, and we've read what I wanted to read to you guys today. I do want you guys to help me describe
the
Jabra,
paragraph
but
of that book gave me brain damage.
Let me tell chat about what happened. So, as you remember...
One moment.
Yes.
If I may.
Yes.
I want to point out, just for world building, I'm sorry, I'm Shoal brain. This is one thing. The Temple Guard, for the most part, if you want to frighten people, the Tide Wardens are the good guys. The Temple Guard are the scary guys.
That's true, yes.
It's like, it's the Temple Guard are Comstar, okay?
That's true. That is true, because they have a direct line to your banking agency.
They are the bank.
Yes. Okay, so as you guys will remember, because it has come up on stream many times, Doctor Who's the Chef thought it would be a great idea to buy me a terrible book, and he got me a copy of the Battletech romance, Hungry Like the Wolf, which we're rewriting later this year for April Fools, and we've talked about that book at length.
Iden has driven me around this area, and it is absolutely gorgeous and horribly misrepresented in the book.
Yes. Because Deception Pass Bridge appears in Hungry Like the Wolf and is not described with nearly as much gravitas as the real place has. And of course, Twilight abused the Pacific Northwest as well. But when he found out that Doctor Who had sent me this, Neff took this as a personal challenge. And Neff was like, I'm going to send Lady Red an even worse book. And he sent me The Last Vampire on Earth. And when this book arrived in front of me and I unwrapped it, I was like, oh no, because I looked at the cover, and the cover looks like the author and her at the time boyfriend when they were 14 years old, and this was just going to be a terrible, terrible book. I then found out when I made this observation to Neff that this book is a novelization of the screenplay for a movie by an Italian immigrant chasing the Twilight craze. And if you know anything about Italian knockoff movies, that's where you want your brain to be. So I read this. How
many pages is this book?
Well, I read this
How
book.
many pages have words on them?
As I was going through it, I was like, oh dear, this book is double spaced with huge font, and it's got an inch of space at the top and bottom of the page to try and, make this take up enough space to be worthy of purchasing as a novella. Oh no. Technically speaking, this book is 100 pages long. However,
how many pages have words on them?
Quite a few, but from page 77 onwards, the pages have a sentence on them apiece, and the rest of the page is dominated by a photo from the movie. And the last 30 pages are just where are they now for each of the characters, which became really interesting as I read through this book, because one of the most important characters who catalyzes certain events isn't included in this section. Chad, yes. The prose on the other pages, where we technically have full paragraphs, are often broken up by small thumbnails of images from the movie for some reason. The formatting is abysmal, and when I put this book into Doctor Who's the Chef's hands and asked him to open it, he almost had a stroke. It was amazing.
I couldn't read the first paragraph.
When I made you read it,
I read 2 sentences of the first paragraph,
please
threw
read
it
us
down
the
in
first.
disgust, and wanted
Please
to
read us the
throw it
first.
into a fire.
Please.
Okay.
Read us the first.
I will read you the first.
Chat. This page is about 8 inches tall, about 4 inches wide, and has an inch of border space and about size 24 font.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I'm going
continue.
to read you this opening sort of section, this opening paragraph. And once I'm done reading it, I would like you guys to tell me what format we've actually just read. So, has everybody got a drink? Because you're going to need it. Take a deep breath. Buckle your fuckles. Here we go.
Here comes an education on bad literature.
Oh, yes. I hope you're ready for this. No, if we're very lucky, we get 3 paragraphs per page, Bully Snake. Sometimes it's 3 paragraphs.
I'm gonna have to steal that.
Go for it. It's a beautiful day. Everywhere the tree leaves erupt in a bold display of colour. On a college campus, various groups of people mingle around. Kids on skateboards skate across the courtyard. A group of hippies sat in a circle in the grass. One played a guitar. Off to the side, a group of hip-hop rapper kids took turns rapping. There's a group of rich kids sitting on a set of stairs talking about a social event. Oh my god, this is going to be like the best party yet this year, one of them said. I know, everyone who's anyone is going to be there, replied another. A random person walked past them looking dishevelled and in kind of ratty clothes. The first one whispered, Look at her. I would not go anywhere looking like that. Me either, said the second. They chuckled to themselves. That is the opening paragraph.
Ah, pain! Pain!
Yep, we have Valley speak. We have hip-hop kids taking turns to rap. What have we just read?
Hip-hop rapping kids.
Yes.
Hip-hop rapping kids taking turns
I didn't
to
know.
rap.
I mean, add a few kids smoking crack in the corner, and you'll have my kid describing his high school.
Well, and you've just hit on exactly what this is. This is not prose for a book. What we've just read is shorthand for what the scene should look like for the opening of a movie. And what the visual language is supposed to be saying is, you know, this is a mixed campus with different social groups from different social strata. This is shorthand for set the scene looking like this for the camera to pan across, because the audience will automatically, from seeing these specific groups of very stereotypical people, they'll walk away from this going, aha, you know, multicultural, multi-strata college campus. This is, you know, everywhere USA. Which
Sounds
in
like
itself,
a rough draft written by a drunk person.
in itself, in that form, it's not as egregious as how we just read it. As narrative prose for a book, it's terrible. As drafting for this is what the scene should look like for a screenplay, it's not as egregious, though. I mean, it's still very stereotypical and not good. But it's not as egregious as having it as prose. It's just awful.
Sounds like a rejected CW plot.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's CW pilot. CW is a network here in the States, Lichter, that is known for having barely passable writing on mainstream primetime television. If you've ever seen The Flash or the Green Arrow shows...
I don't have a TV for the last 2 decades.
Fair enough. But my best examples are The Flash and the and Green Arrow. CW shows are known for having barely competent writing, and all of their characters look like supermodels and cannot act out of a wet paper bag.
Let's see what chat is saying.
Yes, chat.
Uptoll is making some good points. Character voice is inconsistent. Prose and direction are real bad. Dialogue is Mean Girls, but worse. This book should be deshelved. Yes, and that's the problem, is the prose hasn't properly taken... I mean, you can literally tell that the person who wrote this sat down with the screenplay and just copy-pasted and changed a few words and didn't read it back to themselves. And it is very stereotypical, and they've done nothing to sort of expand the prose and to soften those short-handed edges into something that's pleasing to read. Somebody's demanding British tea in recompense. I very strongly recommend a good cup of tea. Doctor Who very kindly made me a lovely cup of tea before stream, but I've sadly now finished it. But yeah, this book is terrible. There is a point in this book where the vampire character just walks onto a mobile blood bank, which is only being staffed by one person. It's just like, hey, if I give you $5, can you sell me like 40 persons worth of blood donations and ask me no questions? And the dude's like, yeah, sure, why not? So that's what we're reading the book
gathered today.
I mean, dominate.
Also, why do you think?
No, because the vampire character in this book has no powers. There is not a single time a vampiric power shows up other than the fact that he can't get sick.
You have just seen Dominate 3. I mean, I know they're telling you there are no powers involved.
This is fucking the last vampire. Yes,
this is the Malkavian telling you that the wall's bleeding is very normal and you shouldn't pay attention.
So, Red, why is this last vampire in college studying bloodborne diseases?
I wish I had a good answer for this, but the plot / point / whatever of this story is that apparently this vampire has been alive since the time of Jesus, and heard him speak a couple of times. I thought he was a pretty great guy. So he's been alive for 2028 years. This book was written in 2008. And he's only now decided that he wants to put his life to something good. So he's in college to study hematology to cure blood diseases like diabetes and AIDS.
Notably, both of those are not
no,
blood
no,
diseases.
you just gave me cancer.
I'm sure I did, which is also not a blood disease. Oh no!
It can be a blood disease.
No, yes, you can have blood cancer.
You
have
can,
blood
but just cancer in general, a bit more complicated than that.
Also, what medical complication does the main character have, who is the only good person this vampire has ever seen ever?
She has AIDS, which she caught, she was on missionary duty in Africa from a cut that a girl bled on while she was helping the dispossessed.
What?
I know! This book is so
I'm sorry,
bad, the movie is even worse, and oh god.
No, God, please. I'm
Lady
sorry.
Red.
This is the sins of men. Do not blame God for this.
Lady Red, is this I have memory cancer after hearing this. Lady Red, is the movie Neil Breen bad?
No, and this is going to lead us into, we'll come back to talking about Jabra at the end if we have time, but I think this is a good segue into the last section that we wanted to do this week, the importance of fan fiction, because the thing is, you get really two kinds of people involved in the creative world. You get your posers and pretenders, and you get your people who are passionate. And you can get good and bad in both, because sometimes you get pretenders who understand the things they're aping well enough to replicate something or give it a slight twist or bring something in that isn't their own entire original creativity, but they're good enough at it that even though they're sort of, they don't have the personal passion for the thing and they're borrowing from something else, they can craft something good and people can enjoy it. And that's fine. But you also, of course, with your people who are just posers and pretenders, you get a whole load of dross and crap, which is what Last Vampire is. Last Vampire is a very poor understanding of why Twilight worked. And I say that in terms of what made Twilight successful, not that I think Twilight is good. You guys know why I don't think Twilight is good. But there was a reason why Twilight had the success that it did. This person wanted to ape that and achieve the same success, but they didn't fully understand it, and we've ended up with a piece of absolute trash as a result. Because there's no personal passion there, and they're not good at pretending. On the other side, you have your people with passion who can be good or bad. And a good person with passion will make something unique and interesting and creative that people want to engage with. And, that's where some of your, greats of all time come from. But you can also have passionate people who are terrible. They're really passionate about what they're doing, but they don't have the technical skills or the experience or the right crowd around them helping to guide them where they're going wrong to improve. And you still end up getting some dross in the world, but when you've got somebody who's bad but passionate, it tends to still come across as charming. Unlike Last Vampire, which is bad but not passionate, so it's just trash.
That's bad.
But the world's greatest piece of fan fiction, the most well-known piece of fan fiction of our generation, available on the internet, with an absolute stonker of an opening line that people who have read the fan fiction will know immediately, is bad, but it was written by somebody with passion. And I will read you the first line of this monumental piece of fan fiction that changed the face of the genre. Hi, my name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway, and I have long ebony black hair. That's how I got my name. With purple streaks and red tips that reaches my mid-back and icy blue eyes like limpid tears, and a lot of people tell me I look like Amy Lee. I'm not related to Gerard Way, but I wish I was because he's a major fucking hottie. And I imagine some people in chat know exactly what this is from. Night Owl is having a stroke.
Fucking preps.
It's an Omi again, yes. I guess I can hear the fucking song too. Orc Slayers doesn't know what it's from. And I'm guessing Lictor doesn't know what it's from either.
I have no idea
All
what's
right.
going on.
Let me talk a
This-
little bit about fan fiction and this particular fan fiction, especially for people who don't know. So, fan fiction is a wonderful thing. There is a shit ton of bad fan fiction out there. There is a very good reason that it has the bad reputation it does, and it deserves it. However, fan fiction is a very good tool. We spoke earlier on about how children can learn easier than adults because of expectation. And if you think about a child, you give a young child Legos or Duplo if they're very young, because they can't have the smaller bricks, they need the bigger ones, and you ask them to build a castle, they're going to build a monstrosity out of all different colours, and they're going to lose attention partway through and just go off on a different tangent, and then they're going to bring you something they've made that, it started out as a horse, but now it's got 7 legs and they're telling you it's a gun, because this is what children are like, and it's fine and it's charming and it's beautiful. Fan fiction is Legos for writing.
That is a very, very clever way to describe
yes. You give a
it.
child
It suddenly makes sense.
you give a child Legos because they can easily snap them together. You can build different shapes of them, but you've given them building blocks where they can at least put things together. They've got a framework that they're working with, and as they get older and they learn to follow instructions and they get better at things and their memory increases and they start to learn about the coloured pieces they might want to put together, and they get into say Star Wars, and then you get them a Star Wars Lego kit and they have the reason to want to make the specific Star Wars model, so they're more willing to follow things. They evolve.
And then they ask for another set, and they start creating their own stories and interactions
Yep,
with them.
and then they start
jamming the TIE
playing.
fighter into the X-wing.
Yeah, and they start playing with the different pieces they've got and make their own unique things that are clearly Star Wars, but not an actual Star Wars model. It's it's great. That's what Lego is for. It helps to encourage creativity by giving children something that's easy to work with but very versatile. Fan fiction does that for writing. When somebody is starting out, a person who's passionate about writing or who's passionate about stories, it's not uncommon for a young writer to start with fan fiction because they've got something they're into, they've got something they're interested in, and it gives them a framework to work with. And this is why you get the unique idiocies of fan fiction, like I'm really into Supernatural, but I really like these 2 characters and I'm now going to write them completely different to how they actually are in the series, because the person who's writing is experimenting with character and tone, but they haven't got the confidence or the tools yet to just write characters of their own. So they take characters they know and start twisting them and warping them, or they'll take a location and warp it. What were you going to say, Doctor Who?
No. This is where you cut me off earlier when I
I'm
was
sorry.
talking about. No. This is where you cut me off earlier and said we're going to shelve this conversation for later.
Yes. Yeah.
When I was talking about my story, like essentially the 2 stories that I wrote, Frothing Out and A Moment in the Garden, and the Titan Green Tech story, those are fan fiction of Shoal. By all definitions, that's fan fiction. That doesn't mean it's bad. That doesn't mean it's good. It's technically fan fiction because we have a semi-established setting and a semi-established setting with characters and concepts that are not necessarily our own, but telling our own story with those building blocks.
The only real difference is that we're kind of making a Creative Commons open setting that anybody who interacts with it is welcome to use. But if it was just mine and you'd written that, then yeah, it would absolutely be fan fiction and nothing without changing anything. The only thing that makes the difference there is that we're like, no, we can still consider this canon. So yeah. Ed says a lot of fan fiction is authors examining the characters as well. Yes, it's people taking something that's familiar to them and familiar to others to allow them to engage with an audience of similar interests, which makes for great feedback. VeggieTales is absolutely biblical fan fiction, yes. Dante's Inferno is fan fiction. The great...
Please, let's steer away, because I will go on a complete tirade of people, and it's many fan fictions in various cultures with various amounts of dragons and laser pistols.
to explain to Lictor and who was the other person? Orc Slayer in chat. The particular fan fiction that Red and I are talking about
Yes.
is a wonderful, wonderful gem from the early 2000s called My Immortal, which is a wonderful crystallization of what happens when a young teen finds Harry Potter and Twilight and is trying to explore themselves in a environment where they cannot necessarily express who they want to be and are trying to push back against the rigid boundaries that have been thrust upon them by their immediate environment.
Which, of course, that's what the ultimate purpose of most of the creative arts are, is it's an exploration of the human condition. And there are a lot of things that we all go through, that there are things that are common to most humans, and coming of age is kind of one of them. Most of us, I mean, you know, people grow up, and growing up is hard.
No.
So learning social things as you grow up is difficult, and societal and cultural inputs can cause questions,
My
discrepancies.
coffee has frost on it.
Oh no! Oh no! And fan fiction is a great way not only to begin your passion for writing and exploring characters and using building blocks, but writing for a lot of people who start in those teenage years is also an exploration of self, and that's what we see with the epic that is My Immortal. My Immortal is as well known as it is because of the unique confluence of circumstances it was written in. It was written by either a masterful troll who really understood the experience of being a 14-year-old girl in the early 2000s, or it was written by a 14-year-old girl in the early 2000s. And
I
it's that
tend to believe the situation around it. I'm in the camp that it was genuine.
I'm in that camp too, because that's what I want the truth to be. I don't mind if it turns out not to be, but I would love it if that was the truth, because My Immortal is overflowing with passion. It's absolute shit. It is complete dross. It is terrible, but it is passionate, and it's just it endears itself to you.
With the scene misspellings and the early emo culture that she is trying to that the writer is trying to emulate with the writing, with the includes and the Raven OC that she's like, "AN Raven, this is you."
Yes, she writes her best friend into it. Yeah, as Willow.
And then immediately kills her off and writes her out of the story, and then it's just like, wait, no, we made up, ignore that.
Yes, they had a fight in real life, so the character in the story dies and then comes back once they make up, and it's just such a wonderful snapshot of what it's like to be a young teenager questioning who you are with these very hormone-driven, passionate interests in specific things of the time. So it very much dates the piece, but you can't help but be charmed by it because it's just so passionate, and it's got these ridiculous lines in it that are eminently quotable because they are reflective of the human
hell
condition.
are you doing, you motherfuckers? It was Dumbledore.
Yes. It's just wonderful. It's somebody who's playing with these building blocks, writing something that appealed to them. And I think what's also important is that there was the pushback that there was. So the reason My Immortal is so big is because it happened at a time where fan fiction online was becoming a thing, where you had this online community. Obviously, the internet had been around for a while by the early 2000s, but internet culture was still sort of, it was only really getting properly established at that point. You'd gone through your sort of forum days, your initial forums, your initial chat rooms. This is when you had MSN Messenger became a big thing instead of being stuck with just IRC chats. You were having the ability to start downloading logs and keeping things long term.
Hey, Red.
Yes.
Red. What was your away message?
Oh, I don't remember, but I do remember that back in the day, because I have always been a terminally online person, I used to have like 10 messenger chats open at once.
Back in the day of LiveJournal.
Yes. And of course, that's what we're talking about, is this era where things like you can now have your own space on the internet. You have your live journal, the very early days of MySpace. You have fanfiction.net
ICQ.
is taking off, where you can have your stories and they stay there and you can access them easily, and more people are having dial-up and having dedicated phone lines in the house for the dial-up, so that you're not being told to get off the internet every 10 minutes because mum needs to make a phone call. And that sort of allowed internet culture to go from those sort of very early days of it being sort of intermittent connection with each other to, as a teenager, I can now be in my own space interacting with my own people online and be left alone to have a full socialization session. And that was where I feel internet friendships, the ability to have proper friendships over the internet really started from, with complete strangers that you'd never met. And My Immortal was written in this time period. It was found and just exploded. Yeah, Gaia Online. Aiden, my group, the Desir group, Gaia Online is how we met.
I'll just point out, it was the first time in history where you didn't have to find your friends in your immediate vicinity. You could finally, for the first time, have your geeks, your tribe, from halfway around the world for no other reason that you didn't want to bother with the people that were born in the town near you.
Yeah.
No, the early internet was just an absolute explosion of transcontinental, trans country relationships, because just the immediate connection and exploration of self with other individuals exploring who they were online in like very primitive to us.
I mean,
like,
from three continents away.
Yeah, hi. No, and I this early internet is how we achieved us, in a sense, chat, like the BPL and the aux. Like this early internet has crystallized in this community and has led to me literally sitting in the Desir household talking about the crazy history of the internet.
Yeah, it's
having
pretty
a grand time.
It's pretty amazing.
How dare you?
It also leads to things like My Immortal.
And My Immortal is wonderful because it's written by this very passionate 14-year-old girl who, if the lore is to be believed, she was living in Dubai, probably born to, Western parents who were working over there. But she's in this, sort of culture where she's trying to figure out who she wants to be. She's very into bands like Good Charlotte, etc. She's into the popular alternative music of the day. She's into Harry Potter, but doesn't have access to the book, so her understanding of the setting is incomplete, which shows through the way that she tells the story. She's into vampire stories and gothic stuff.
Hogwarts in England. Hogwarts is canonically set in Scotland.
And my favourite thing is that I'm in the 7th year. I'm 17. No, you're not. Kids in year 7 are 12.
Well, year 7 in Hogwarts is 17.
Because Hogwarts is incorrect, and it depends on what bit you're reading as to whether they get it right or not. And there's a whole confluence of things that just don't make sense. And she's clearly, she's got early hormones. She's seen the movies and has really taken to the actor who played Draco Malfoy, and so that, of course, becomes her love interest. She's never heard of Mary Sue from Star Trek, and we don't have the a flexibility of the internet of today to just easily link people to, hey, don't do this. So of course her character's a complete Mary Sue. It's just
so it's like, if the lore is to be believed,
is the male version of Mary Sue is Gary Stu?
Correct.
Gary Stu, Martin Stu, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
got it. Okay.
But like, if the lore is to believed, and the writer is a teenage girl living in Dubai, like with access to the internet and writing like this, is like, I buy all my clothes from Hot Topic.
Yep.
The girl is obviously like born to Western parents who are probably there on some sort of either diplomatic or military mission. So she has very rigid social forces acting on her to act and present a certain way. And think back to when you were a teenager, chat. Like, do you want people telling you how to act and behave? No.
And so
Fuck the
this world
patriarchy.
that she's written is just this idealized escapist fantasy, which is why she gets so annoyed when she gets pushback from readers who are like, hey, this isn't good. This is what you should change. This is how you could do better. She doesn't want to hear it because that's not what she's there for. And so you get all these author's notes at the beginning. And this is where you get the, oh, you're just a prep, or flamers, get out of here. It's just, it's so full of passion, and it's so cringy, and it's so bad, but it is just really, really fun. And I think most people who've read My Immortal have either gone, I'm never touching that again, and just walked off from it. Of course, it's called My Immortal after the Evanescence song, because we're back in the music genre again. But for people who sort of appreciate it for its absolute ridiculousness, it's almost got this sort of like charming cult following to it, where people will be able to tell you who their favourite read-through. Who did their favourite read-through? For me, it's Internet Historian. No, I love the Internet Historian read-through of it.
I literally... it got deleted off of YouTube, so I went onto a Reddit thread where someone posted a link to a Google Drive of their downloads of it, and I'm just like, thank you so much, this is important cultural history for me. It's adorable, just like a kid's crayon drawing. Yes, 100%. My Immortal is a kid's crayon drawing.
It is. It absolutely is. It's the words. It's the text version of a kid's crayon drawing. Would you like to hear the entire first chapter? Because the chapters are really short. These were clearly being written in like 40 minutes after homework, but before bedtime by child.
Chat does not want to hear it, but we will read it anyway.
My Immortal is the Plan 9 from outer space of Harry Potter fanfiction. It's just this weird thing that doesn't have any horrible real-life horror attached to it, unlike other pillars of that fan base. Yes. Night Owl, mute for like 20 minutes, I guess. No, chat's yelling at us. No. Stop. No.
I see a yes. I see a yes. We have all the permission we need.
Please, no, Hague. Somebody call the Hague. Stop trying to send me to the Hague this week. All right, I will make chat suffer. Night Owl, just mute for a few minutes. Is someone
trying to cut ahead in line for me in Hague? Is that what they're trying to do?
Night Owl, time Derek out.
Are they trying to cut in line? No.
All right.
To the gulag.
I am going... You have your chance now, chat, to flee. I am going to read the first chapter of My Immortal, including the author's notes. If you don't want to hear this nonsense, you may leave now. You will miss nothing else important in the next hour, I promise you.
5 minutes. 5 minutes is all you need to skip the entirety of the first chapter.
Please, save your souls.
Cough drops like, I'm out, I'm going, I'm done. All right.
Zor can say he doesn't have a soul to save.
My Immortal, Chapter 1. Author's note. Special thanks, get it, because I'm gothic, to my GF. You, not in that way, Raven, Bloody Tears 666, for helping me with the chapter. And spelling. You rock. Justin, you're the love of my depressing life. You rock too. MCR rocks. Hi.
ROX.
Yes, of course. Hi, my name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway, and I have long ebony black hair, that's how I got my name, with purple streaks and red tips that reaches my mid-back, and icy blue eyes like limpid tears, and a lot of people I look like Amy Lee. Author's note, if you don't know who that is, get the hell out of here. I'm not related to Gerard Way, but I wish I was because he's a major fucking hottie. I'm a vampire, but my teeth are straight and white. I have pale white skin. I'm also a witch, and I go to a magic school called Hogwarts in England, where I'm in the 7th year. I'm 17. I'm a goth, in case you couldn't tell, and I wear mostly black. I love Hot Topic, and I buy all my clothes from there. For example, today I was wearing a black corset with matching lace around it, and a black leather miniskirt, pink fishnets, and black combat boots. I was wearing black lipstick, white foundation, black eyeliner, and red eyeshadow. I was walking outside Hogwarts. It was snowing and raining, so there was no sun, which I was very happy about. A lot of preps stared at me. I put up my middle finger at them. Hey, Ebony! Shouted a voice. I looked up. It was Draco.
Dot.
Draco Malfoy. What's up, Draco? I asked. Nothing, he said shyly. But then I heard my friends call me and I had to go away. Author's note. Is it good? Please tell me. Fangs! That is chapter 1.
It requires an editor.
you think?
The problem is, Lictor, the problem is the editor was encouraging this.
Yes. They didn't have an editor. They had a friend. A friend is
Bloody
not a good
Tear
editor.
666, Bloody Tear 666 is an account on fanfiction.net who was active around the same time, writing somewhat similar fanfiction, and they were collaborating.
Orcslayer says, needs some work. Mo is yelling at me for making him walk in minus 17-degree weather to get liquor.
I mean,
The famous artist rendition of it. Yes.
So,
Julian,
yeah,
send it
let's
to
talk
us.
about that for a minute. So,
I have about 3/4 of a whiskey bottle. Let's see how much of it survives.
Oh, we're not going to read anymore. Save your sanity.
Okay, it's
Just-
not my sanity.
just-
It's not my sanity.
just-
It's my liver.
Just note, chat, it doesn't get much better.
it gets worse. It gets worse because you have all of the sex scenes turn up, which thankfully are not well described because this is a young person writing, but they're very funny. They're very funny.
All of the Gryffindors somehow transfer to Slytherin and become vampires.
I mean, that doesn't sound like it's a very hard project. I mean, they are Gryffindors. Aren't they canonically incapable of critical thinking?
Yes.
So
That is the best depiction of Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway that I have
it's a
ever
very
seen.
famous one. So with My Immortal is also great, not just for being, a cultural touchstone and a absolute snapshot of the youth of the day, but it's a really good thing to read for exactly what not to do, and it's written in such a way that you can very quickly figure out why it doesn't feel right when you're reading it. Why is this bad is really easy to put your finger on. And one of the things that's really bad about My Immortal is the constant over-description of outfits that get changed every 5 minutes for no good reason, including writing about characters that don't really matter that much and what they're wearing. And, you very quickly sort of work out, maybe I
don't
shouldn't
tell.
do that. I should show, don't
She
tell. I
does
should...
a lot of telling.
And I should let the audience build an image of what this person looks like in their own head so it becomes personal to them, which means they engage with my story better. It's a great example of what not to do, and you can put your finger on it easily. But there was somebody, and I think it was like 2007, 2008, who went through My Immortal and drew every single outfit Ebony wears through the entire series. And then there's a wonderful YouTube channel called Strange Aeons, for anyone who hasn't seen it, where she then made
she
those
is
outfits
amazing.
and wore some of them out in public. And she just had the best time doing it. At which point, we've now taken this cultural touchstone, absolutely terrible piece of fan fiction, translated it into the drawn medium, which is derivative creativity, then into the physical world, which is further derivative creativity, which, for a shit piece of writing written by a 14-year-old, to have a YouTuber with, not an insignificant audience, making clothing from this shit story you wrote when you're 14. I mean, you can't say My Immortal was a failure, because it absolutely wasn't. People know about it.
To be fair, Strange Aeons is one of the reasons I think why DashCon 2 was a success.
Yes. Because DashCon 1 certainly
Okay.
wasn't.
Please.
So DashCon was a Tumblr convention that was very poorly planned, went absolutely terribly. You'll find ball pit memes about it. And
Somebody pissed in the ball
Oh, the ball. Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's the ball peach.
that,
That's the
yes.
ball peach. Okay,
Or
got it.
Strange Aeons, because she loves old internet and the old legends of the internet. She sort of brings various things to light and talks about them and the state of the world that allowed for them to exist. She helped to organise DashCon 2, where they actually had a proper Tumblr convention that was apparently very good and quite a lot of fun and went well. So it was a scam disguised as a convention. I think calling it a scam outright, I mean, it was, but I think there was just as much unintentional incompetence as there was malicious intent. So,
as a person who organized a fair few events like this, being incompetent and fucking such an operation up.
A lot of the original DashCon ended up dropped on the head of a 17-year-old girl with no support. So what did you expect to happen, you know? Was there a degree of scamminess to it? Absolutely. But it was also just a level of incompetence was in there as well, so... Just follow the beat, says the new one was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more common than yeah, no. Organizing events is hard.
It is very hard.
No, absolutely. What leads me to believe that My Immortal is 100% genuine is the to get back on topic of bad fan fiction is if you know the lore about My Immortal, it had its haters. It divided
oh god, yes,
the fan fiction community at the time.
Oh god,
people
yes.
absolutely encouraging this person to keep writing as an outlet for their creativity, which is a healthy thing to do. People need an outlet for creativity, and should not be stopped from such. That's how maladjusted individuals happen. And other peoples who are just like, this is a massive troll, and I am going to troll them hard back. The main account posting My Immortal on fanfiction.net, I believe, was hacked by an individual who posted under the guise of this person of the account a take on their chapter 47 or something, which essentially said, yeah, all of these characters die and the story's over, the end. And then somehow the original owner recovered the account and posted a retraction of that chapter and an attempt at continuing the story, and then said, this isn't fun anymore, goodbye.
And that was kind of it. Which was probably for the best, because she had absolutely written herself into a corner as well. But as I say, My Immortal is a wonderful thing to read for everything that you shouldn't do. And it's like a child with crayons, you know, I don't feel any animosity towards it, because whether it was written by a masterful troll replicating a 14-year-old or an actual 14-year-old, it's, you know, I don't expect more than that from it. And I hope that the person who wrote it learnt from it and went on to write other things and did much better. It would make me very happy if, you know, there's a book out there that person wrote as an adult that's wonderful, because they got to learn all of the lessons when they were young.
So it's like the reaction of the author to the hack leads me to believe that it was a genuine attempt at creative writing.
Just the way some of the characters speak to each other and the touchstones of the time that are included are very consistent. For people who know their internet lore, there's elements of it that remind me of early Christian Weston Chandler. And, I mean, we know that they are a real person, so, you know, it could go either way. But My Immortal is charming. There is no horrible real-world trauma attached to it, and nothing bad came from it. It's just a really shitty fan fiction that's weirdly well-known because of a confluence of events. And it makes me happy. Bad writing has its place. The reason that she got, and of course the reason she got so much pushback from the people reading it, and it was so divisive, is she was demanding people's attention. And as we've been saying on this stream for well over a year now, once you get to the point where you're demanding an audience, where you're either demanding their money or you're demanding their time and attention, you have to consider the audience, so that they become your client, and you have to take their responses into consideration. As a 14-year-old who was just trying to explore the world, she wasn't going to do that. My Immortal is an SCP? It probably is. It probably is.
No. It is a cultural SCP now. It 100% is.
Absolutely.
It's a cultural cryptid.
But what's one of the wonderful things about My Immortal is, as bad as it is it's absolutely categorically inspired other people to write.
Whether in spite of or because of.
Yes.
It's inspired people to write.
For my digital art that I do, the mentor that I went with, the sort of the professional teacher that I went with after my personal art mentor got me really started on trying my best, is Mark Brunette. I have his art school. He was a character designer for Blizzard around about the Overwatch period of time. And in his
They
course,
did the good stuff.
Yes. And in his course, in one of his lectures, he's sort of talking about, how he got into art and what was beneficial for him and why he wanted to make an art school and have a community Discord that goes along with it. Is one of the things that really benefited him when he was learning to be an artist was that sort of sense of competition. Not necessarily, that you have to enter things and compete with each other, but if he was drawing and there was somebody he knew who was also drawing, it became for him a sort of challenge to, well, can I draw better? Can I one up myself? Can I one up this person that I respect? And it sort of became a friendly competition of pushing each other forward to do better and having stuff to look at that made him want to overcome that level he was seeing in his friend or the community around him, and thus, you grow together. That was what I had with my early writing on Gaia Online. When I first started writing and was first sort of getting into the concept of formulating stories and communal writing, which is my favorite kind, I couldn't write for shit. I was very guilty of the asterisks describes action asterisks, which was common of the day, and there'd be like 2 sentences. To the point now where, if I'm posting like a paragraphs at a time of a scene that I'm setting, etc. And of course, you've seen what we can do through Shoal and some of the other writing I've shared with you guys. That came from a place.
Action. I am so guilty of that.
Yeah, because that was what we grew up with as young people on the internet at the time, and that was based on the technology we're working with, where asterisks could cause,
the most famous of which, and I know I'm going to get quoted for this. Uwu notices your bulge. What's this? Nuzzles.
Yes, the furry community certainly had an impact on certain things, but it also is just where certain conventions came from that you can translate into writing. For example, if you were writing something out of character on Gaia, you typically put it inside double brackets. Well, if you're now making, if you wanted to translate that into a book, Terry Pratchett, for example, will do things like that in some of his books where he adds in footnotes. It's not put in double brackets in the middle of the story, but there'll be footnotes at the bottom where, he's pointing something out or bringing something in. And it turns out, yeah, you can absolutely have footnotes in a fantasy story that's a consistent narrative, and it works. It's this concept of how you break your writing up in different styles and with different visual cues you can put into text becomes your written shorthand. People still do that in games where you have limited chat space, absolutely. And you sort of, yes, goth drop, it's over, we were only reading the 1 chapter, you only needed to go for 5 minutes, it's fine.
I like I.E. Geth. He once attended a panel at a literary festival where a well-known sci-fi fantasy author said, "My Immortal exists. There is no reason you should not try writing."
Yes, and I think of My Immortal and other things, and just all the different art forms that are out there in the world as sort of a fertilizer for your own creativity. In some fertilizer, you're just gonna, you're gonna be growing next to a plant you really admire, and in another fertilizer, it's like, this is made of poop, but I'm going to use this poop to grow my own amazing plant. For me, one of those things is Twilight. I hate Twilight. One of the reasons that I wanted to write my initial series was because I was just so pissed off at Twilight for existing and being successful when it's just trash. And there's all these great writers out there with great ideas, and they don't get given a chance, and that isn't fair. And thus, from the poop of Twilight came my Heavener series. series.
We were actively walking through the park today before Stream Lady read, and what did I say about Stephanie Meyer?
She clearly never been to the Pacific Northwest.
She massively misrepresented the Pacific Northwest. It is gorgeous up here. Although I have to say, to a young to a young teenager who has been forced out of an environment which he's comfortable in, going to a completely new area in which he knows no one, doesn't know the area, and doesn't want to be there, I could see the absolute travesty of Stephanie Meyer describing the Pacific Northwest as how a teenager would respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean Twilight is good writing.
No.
It just means I understand where she might possibly be coming from.
Yeah, and it's also interesting when you look at Twilight to sort of understand why it took off the way it did. And again, it's that sort of confluence of unique elements that allowed it to become the cultural touchstone that it is. Does that make it good? Not necessarily. Some things do get to have, those cultural moments, and they are good. A lot of things will not be. And what do you do with that? And if it inspires you, whether because it's shit or whether because it's brilliant, and that brings more genuine human creativity into the world, that can only be a good thing in my book. And of course, that's what we've tried to do here with Shoal, is bring something into the world that didn't exist before, because it's the human thing to do. It's the magic that we get to have in real life, is the ability to create things that allow an idea that lives in the black space behind your own eyes to manifest inside the black space behind somebody else's eyes. That's a truly magical thing.
Speaking of group writing, good writing and everything, we have 30 minutes left. Let's describe Jabra.
Yes, we should.
You had
try
a
and do
note
that
in
today.
your writing.
I also want to let Lictor have some time to say anything he wants to after we've witted on about this ridiculous thing.
Oh, it is so fun to witter about My Immortal. It is so much fun.
Sure is. Yeah, it sure is. You'd note that when I want to steal your time is being promptly stolen. So talk about taking up space when no one asked you for it. So we have two things to do. We can talk.
Yes.
We should be talking about Jabra and how they look, and I can give the general notes we had, and there's also the glossary homework that we should definitely give to the group, because we need a glossary. So, just to be brief, Jabra was described as a deep sea.
She was a cross between a deep ceratonoid and a shallow ceratonoid, which is an odd combination and led to her getting bullied as a little crabling.
I've just pulled up her thing so we can have a look at what we did write down for her, but I think there's some more things that we need to describe. So, physical description: she is a deep dweller ceratonoid with a thick carapace and a large body. She has a lobster-like tail flange with a V notch in it, as she is actually of mixed parentage between a shallow and deep ceratonoid. This crossbreeding made her very outsider growing up, and is why she became a pirate. She is missing her upper left crab claw, so I need to make sure that comes through in the prose. This has been replaced with a complexive, bulky prosthetic, as her limb is still regrowing. The prosthetic is specifically a wickedly hooked affair, rather than just emulating her original missing limb. She also has a peg leg, as she lost her front leg during the mutiny. While it's regrowing, she has a simple but powerful prosthetic replacement. She can kick like a mantis shrimp. We said she's 77, so she's annoyed that she's a year younger than Umi. We described her scent and we described her resonance. What we didn't describe, and what hung me up and made me want to talk to chat before I went further, we haven't described the colour or texture of her shell or her eyes or anything like that. So what colour is Jabra?
She's of mixed parentage, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That would mean one of two things. It means that she's either very, very pale with a little bit of surface color, or the other way around, very vibrant surface colors.
We could certainly go either way. We
Given
also have the
how-
ability to choose her colours based on the role we want her to play in the story. Do we want her to be able to sort of lurk among the ghostly ruins, and so having her be pale benefits us, or do we want her to stand out?
I think that was my first thought, that she looks almost like a ghost of a crab.
Okay.
With a little bit of blue, a little bit of purple, a little bit of green tinge to it. Because, again, deep sea creatures are usually without any specific color, because light doesn't go that far and they don't care.
Thragner is saying, I like her being pale better. Her pirate clothes can be loud if that's what she's projecting.
I kind of agree a little bit with like the deep paleness, like blues and and stuff like that. I'd like to think, like, yes, like her main shell has that, but like because of her mixed parentage, she has just a streak around like the terminus of her pattern, which is just vibrant, shallow colors.
Okay, so let's give her a vivid band of blue, let's say, of blue and green around the lateral line of her carapace.
Okay. Also, while Jabra, it might behoove us to remind people that these are people and not the bare aliens that we see in. These guys have clothing and personal styling.
Yep.
Mad Ducks, she doesn't need camouflage. She's fabulous.
She might be, but she's wearing clothing because, regardless.
Geth, is body modification common on Shoal, as in our tattoos are dyeing common? If so, I was thinking pale blue or a lilac. Yes, we have described Hordaka in his document like this. He has his unit tattooed on his frill.
Yes.
I haven't seen that described in prose, but he does have a tattoo on his frill. And I believe I insisted on him having like a nose ring or something.
So what do you think clothes-wise for Jabra then, Lictor? Because that seemed to be where you were heading towards, which, these are people, you're right.
These are people and they're moving outside of their biological niche. Obviously, they're wearing something.
Yep.
I think that Jabra has a tendency for martial outer clothing. The things that would say martial to a ceratinoid would usually be heavier plate, reverse pressure suits, and quite possibly, if you recall it's not about the harnesses, it's about the plating. It's about, this thing is Almo. It's not civilian clothing.
So it's like reinforcing like her already natural chitness armor, just extra armor.
Normal okay. The thing about it is that normal chitin is beautiful. It's nice. The people out there are using splinter lances and other stuff. She's wearing stuff that would make the human eye looks like she's wearing already a suit of armor. And this goes to this will give us the shorthand for this lady is a martial character.
I'm thinking have her armor coloured in mottled dark greys and greens to blend in with the shadows, with the kelp, in areas where there is light.
Yeah, muted diffusion to blend in with the silt whenever the murk and slush get in the way of visual eyesight.
Okay.
Oh god, Mad Ducks. Oh god. Somewhere in this setting there's a very large sentient eel that is mad because he has no thumbs.
He can always he should go to our friendly Salacians.
Yeah, they'll set him up with some Susella.
Exactly. I mean, we've got that one covered. So that's the stuff about her clothing. She might be having on her exposed um, facial features,
Mhm.
or on one of her claws, she might have some sort of a vibrant coloration streak, like a tattoo on. I'm just imagining. Just imagine this slash across the face that some characters in Indistinguishable Male Hero, Pale Male Hero number 77, and has a slash of color across their face, just so you know that he's the hero and everybody else are normal,
Mhm.
according to the rule of ninjutsu conservation. So she could also have such a distinguishing feature and or tattoo
It could be
on
a
her.
mark of her pirate fleet or some sort
Exactly.
of clan marking.
We
It
know
makes sense in
ceratinoids mark their carapace with coming of age and other important event marks. And you know that obviously stays until your next molt. So yeah, she can absolutely have that. Yeah, I just wanted sort of some color and some description for her beyond just what we had, so I could write it out properly. Again, I had a little bit of struggle with writing this week, and I wasn't visualizing her in my head the way I needed to be able to describe her well. So I was like, I'll ask chat. Chat will know.
I'm just imagining she, like, on top of this armor that we've described, like, she has harnesses and pouches full of equipment and weaponry.
Yeah.
Like she
She has a
here.
backpack.
Yeah.
She has a
She-
backpack, and that
She is
backpack
prepared for when things go south, and things always go south.
Mhm.
like I said, she has a backpack, and that backpack has stuff in it. And more than once, this backpack has killed quite a few people and kept her people alive, and vice versa.
Okay.
It's like I'm imagining she has like a netting because of the build of the ceratinoid, which is almost like a centaur in her case. She has a sort of netting that allows her to access various things across her back, and you can just describe her reaching back, pulling something out of a hoop, and suddenly she has a splinter lance. She has a brick of explosives. She has a bunch of rations, a med pack.
She absolutely has a breakdown splinter lance in her backpack. It's just you pull it out and it puts it together in moments. Like, the fuck were you keeping there? Backpack.
Exactly. Like, what? Don't you?
Why do you have a splinter lance in your backpack? Got to be prepared.
Why don't you have a splinter lance in your backpack?
I have the normal amount. I have the normal amount of Titan grade weaponry in my backpack. Why don't you have? Squishy.
Casual
All right.
surface racism.
I think I have what I need now to work with her, so that will be fine.
Anything that chat is feeling particularly
Strongly about.
vocal about.
Pirates love our handy hidey holes. I mean, you would know, Mo.
Yes. Look, it's not a prison. It's not a prison pouch unless you can keep a prisoner inside it.
No comment.
No comments. No comments.
Holdout weapons, yeah. I mean, Jabra's always going to be armed, and not just with her own arms. She's always going to have additional stuff as well. That's just her character.
Armed and dangerous.
Yes.
Any particular shell colorations, tattoos, clothing?
How about we discuss shell texture? What is her shell texture like?
Ooh.
Is she smooth? Does she have ridges across it? Does she have little lumpy protrusions?
We have described her as missing a couple of limbs, which
Yeah.
implies that she's she's in an old carapace,
Smooth.
which
You think
which
she's a
like
smooth
she
crab?
might
I'll explain. She might have scars, but age underwater with silt smooths out everything. With the pressure and silt and movement, it's not like moving through air. There's always something abrasive smoothing out your.
But is that smoothing down spines that she did have so that they've become nubs, or is she naturally smooth-shelled? Because when you look at real crabs, you get your smooth-shelled crabs, you get crabs, you know, the spiny crab, which has big old spines on it.
I would
What is her
imagine
natural texture?
I would imagine like evolutionary defensive ridges along like part of like the ridge around where like the back of her shell becomes the front.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would imagine, yeah, some sort of ridge spines that perhaps have been worn down because this is an old molt.
Yeah, so she's down to like little nubbies with large smooth patches, but that she does in a fresh shell, it will be.
If we introduce this mechanic, like that's implying that you can tell how old a ceratinoid's molt is by how spiky their ridge spines are, which I think is cool.
Any
Yeah.
thoughts on that, Lecter?
Okay. I think that she's a mixed breed and thus having a cool spinal ridge lock is great.
Mm-hmm.
It brings me back to an old, and this is me talking and a lot of things. I like to think that she shaved these off in order to make her armor more practical.
Okay.
To increase her water dynamic or her
Not only water
hydrodynamic.
dynamic. I'm asking, be an engineer for a second. Build an
No, yes,
armor
it would
for something with
actually
slow.
have turbulence.
It's not about turbulence. Think about it. You're trying to design a plate of armor for a flat surface, like the chest of a human, or you're trying to design it around the spines at the back of a dragon.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Design.
So what
the
I'm
most
writing is she
The-
also has
the-
a
the-
ridge line of roughness down her spine, which is worn down to nubs where she hasn't cut the spines off herself to let her armor fit closer.
Exactly. It's a thing I have in one of my writing when I designed my Dragonborn for my D&D universe. I've described often that the warrior people of the Dragonborn shave off their horns and spines over their head in what's called a warrior cut, so they could fit helmets over their heads in a practical manner.
Yeah. And
So
that's
instead
the
of
whole thing, is
designing
it becomes
helmets to
this
fit their
great...
head, they fit their heads to the helmets.
Yes, and it
Think for
becomes
a
this
second how
great description of this is a practical character.
So,
Personal flair
a
doesn't
warrior.
matter as much as the protection. Yeah.
Exactly. This is a martial character, and I'm trying to cleave to that. Like they
Which
go.
leads. Sorry,
Hmm?
Lictor.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Like how you describe your Dragonborn immediately brings me to the discussion of Viking helmets, and no, Vikings did not have horned helmets like that. No,
Correct.
that was a invention of
Hollywood
opera
fantasy.
and fan fiction. No, they were very practical warriors. They would not allow an enemy to have a handhold to drag their face down.
You're hearing the seminar I made for Roman legionary kit and how it evolved. Speaking through and into my design of fantasy worlds, like if you want martial people and if you want to just listen to how Hannibal Barca or Scipio Africanus describe what they consider the ultimate warrior. They don't need pretty stuff. They need practical working stuff. And I think that given this ceratinoid that is not ostentatious, that shaves off any unneeded edge in order to provide itself with a sort of protection that the brutal life of a pirate requires, is a much more powerful shorthand, especially against a flashy, chatty, young soldier like Hordaka. Hordaka is a professional
Hordaka
soldier.
is peacocking like a mofo.
Exactly, he is the peacock shrimp. Jabra.
Yeah, look at how badass am I? And then we look over at Jabra, and she's just like, shit, she's a badass.
She is that one moment where she's sharpening her blade, looking up from it, and says, someone's going to die, and moves on with her day.
Alrighty, we're about quarter to the top of the hour. I think what we'll do is let's make the glossary our big focus next week. If I've had a good writing week and we've got more stuff to read, great, but regardless, let's go with having the glossary be a really big focus next week. And we can work through it with chat.
Homework assignments?
No, I want to give chat just the one homework assignment for this week, which is horror movies. You're allowed to come up with a title, but you also have to have a brief synopsis of what the horror movie is about.
So what does Nightmare on Eel Street entail?
Yes, what happens in it? And, as funny as it is to rip off the titles, creativity in what the movie's actually about will be very, very much enjoyed. We'll look at that next week. Then we'll start sitting together to begin work on the glossary, and then anything that will sort of get us in the right mood and tone, so that next week we can send people away with, okay, we've sorted these words, here is a whole list of other words that we need to describe in our glossary for people to understand. Here is a working document, fill these in over the next week, and that will be next week's homework, and we'll go from there. And that gives me this week to set up a document that can all work in.
I will do my best tomorrow to have us just toss a lot of words at the page and see if we can
I've got a list. I've got a list already of common words I know I've already used in the compendium that are going to need a glossary, so we do have a base to start from. I just need to put it into a document that we can all access together, and then chat can help us with that from next week onwards. I think that'll be our best way of going about it.
Indeed.
Okay.
And then we've been productive. We've looked at some actual good writing today. We've looked at some bad writing. We've talked about awful things. Somehow we actually ended up, after the My Immortal section, with like a couple more people here than we started with, but I was expecting to have the stream numbers drop in half, and that didn't happen. So good job, chat.
My Immortal is a wonderful thing to try and learn from.
It is. It is a wonderful example of what not to do, but it did all the wrong things for the right reasons, and that's charming.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Lictor and Doctor Who, for joining me. Just follow the beat says I'm here for the literature reviews.
Absolutely, thank you.
I mean, I can tell you about some terrible books, Beat. Yeah, we'll be able to do that as well, Eric. We can explain out some of the things. So shared trauma bonding, yes. And it's why it's the logic behind Christmas cracker jokes. I mean, I don't know how common Christmas crackers are over here, but in England, at Christmas, you have a cracker on your table. It's got a tiny little firework inside, so when you pull on the cracker, it makes this big crack noise, and inside there'll be a paper hat, there'll be a little toy, and there will be an absolutely abysmal joke. And the reason why the jokes are so bad is because the whole point is this is supposed to be a communal thing at Christmas, and you're never going to get everybody to agree on what is a good joke and what is funny. But what you can get people to agree on is what is a terrible joke that deserves to be groaned at. And that's what they put in the crackers. And, yeah.
No, it is. They are terrible jokes. They are.
Are they rail level?
Worse in some cases. Rail's terrible dad jokes. Some of them are a rail level. Some of them are worse.
No, it's just imagine the absolute worst groan-inducing dad pun you can think of, and dial that up about 5 degrees, and that's Christmas cracker jokes.
Yeah, now you've got an entire table of them, and of course it brings everybody at the table together because you all agree they're shit. But you'd never, if
And
it was a
then you
good
tuck
joke, you'd
into
never
a-
all agree it's good.
And then you tuck it into an absolutely wonderfully prepared Christmas dinner.
Yes, and that makes everything feel better. Why would you even put prosthetic thumbs on an eel? I mean, you would have them be autonomous or prosthetic thumbs. That's what Susella are. They just ride around by themselves doing what they're told. It's great.
Yep. They're essentially very, very attentive drones.
Right, we need to get out of here so that Stryker can get in here and come and continue amusing you fine folk for the rest of this afternoon. Thank you
And
for joining
Aiden
me. Have a
has
good
threatened
weekend.
me with a good dinner.
Yes, we are going to have
How?
hibachi tonight. Aiden style.
Excellent.
Yes. So that
Remote
will be
control
very
eel
nice.
thumbs.
Indeed. Never scream into a colander, you'll strain your voice. Thank you, Bully Snake. Get out of here. Right, with that terribleness, we are leaving. Be good to each other. I will see you at WBPLW on Sunday. I hate you all. I love you all. Good night.
Yeah. Shut up, please.
Ciao.